It also helps to make a super cool VOD with all 3 in one video. That's the other thing, yeah, is like once it's completed, like if you make like a series of short videos to like make a compilation. Like there's a Factorio YouTuber who subscribes to me on YouTube, and his most viewed video ever is he took a like 18-part Let's Play or something of 30-minute videos and then removed the intros and outros. It was him playing like Crastorio to completion, I think. Removed all of the intros and outros and then just put it together into one big video, and it like eclipsed the original series tenfold. It's kind of weird, like. So we are digging. You know what? We'll. People are asking about like what the theme is for this fort. I'm just gonna start. Let's just start. So, it is largely a surface fort because I haven't built a surface fort in a while, and surface forts are fun. I embarked using Embark Anywhere on top of a castle. And the castle had some population, which is why there will be a bunch of non-dwarves running around in my fort. There's a bunch of necromancer experiments in the fort. They're fun. And the rule is I'm allowed to use metal. I'm just not allowed to use metal for weapons or armor. I'm also not allowed to use metal that was left by goblins, and I'm not allowed to use any form of goblinite for any sort of profit. You've seen me on YouTube? No. I saw me in the mirror this morning. It was wild. It is true. I am, in fact, on YouTube. So that's kind of the gimmick for this fort is I'm not allowed to use any metals for weapons. Now, there is metal on the map, but it's only gold. So I've got a shit ton of jet because I embarked on a castle that was made entirely out of jet. And I've got a shit ton of gold. And we're also in very close proximity to not 1, but 3 necromancer towers. Castles. Necromancer towers. And one keeps sending necromancer experiments at me. So, SKULLPONDERS continues here. Twitch chat. You can say hi YouTube if you like. And greet the VOD watchers or the live YouTube watchers. We are streaming on 2 platforms. I prefer you watch on Twitch because Twitch is the chat that I interact with more because the chat is more consistently busy here. Sometimes the YouTube chat picks up, but generally the Twitch chat is the more active of the 2. So that is the one that I personally prioritize. However, if you are watching on YouTube, do not forget, very important, please leave a like on stream because there's 64 of you watching and only 19 likes. Twitch chat, if you want to help out the YouTube stream at no cost to you, there's a link where you could leave a link or a like. I am continuing the thing that I've been doing for years. Euthris, how you been, mate? What's up? It's been a minute. And to the folks over on the YouTube stream, if you would like to support the Twitch stream at no cost to you, there's a link. Seb, if you think that that is hate, then you have a very, very, very loose definition of the word hate and should probably consider using less strong words when discussing me prioritizing the place that has more customers from a business perspective. And the more consistently active chat. It's almost like Twitch is designed for streaming, whereas YouTube is designed for videos. And people watch Twitch as a streaming platform to interact with, and people watch YouTube as a video platform. So the YouTube chat ends up significantly quieter, regardless of if the view count is comparable. It's almost like that. Yes, no, sorry. I fucking hate YouTube, and I wish that everybody on YouTube would go away. No, of course I like you guys. Come on. Christ. I wouldn't stream there if I didn't like it. Y'all are just sensitive. But yeah, I've been busy. It's been a while. YouTube chat is this is true. This is true. Catralism. This is true. No, I mean, YouTube chat is mostly a lurker chat. I mean, I've been reading it all morning, so. But when it's moving, I read it. When it's not moving, I don't. It's also like, I find the culture in YouTube streams, and I see this in other streams that aren't my own, people in YouTube streams tend to talk about the streamer, if that makes sense, instead of talking at the streamer. Oberlay? What? Whereas with Twitch chat, I find it a lot easier to actively communicate with Twitch chat. Because YouTube is designed to, like, let you watch a thing for a couple of minutes and then go watch something else, whereas Twitch is designed to get you to watch something and then keep watching. And then stay until the stream ends and then move to the next stream. Like, that's what benefits each of the different platforms. So, I really hate that invader screen. It's such an annoying spoiler. Oh, I've got a ghost I gotta deal with. Nah, not zombies. Not zombies. Speaking of not zombies, the dwarves in the fort are Brian, Sapphire Starship, Taz, Squizzly Girl, Wasabi Chunk, Romanoid, Adam Zuki, Iron, Neezer, Wolf, Snail, Nilo, Disastrophe, Masmaraz, Donut, Kila, Creed, and Lonely. And I have to name somebody content violation? But I can't remember who had that last name. So instead, I will just name you... It's a long story. It's a long story. What's up, Gist? I get the gist of it. I will continue uploading them. Nick? Now you have 40 plus hours. Congrats, mate. Hope your chickens are doing good. Hold on. I just need to remember where I put them. But there they are. There's your rooster. You know, we've got your shaft hatchet. Is your other rooster? Oh man, you know what? Actually, hold on. Sorry, this is just too good of an idea. I'm not going to name this character content violation because somebody else will probably want them. However, this is a very fitting name for a rooster. I just have to unpause long enough so that the name takes over. What do people have against Cavern Moss? Maybe this is like an old player versus new player thing. I love Cavern Moss. Like, it makes me happy when I see it. So, Cavern Moss ain't the problem. You just have bad taste, mate. Now, which one did I name content violation? That's the question. Because the name hasn't updated yet. Oh, I see. No, that's not it. That's a different one. I can't find it now. Help. Grumble. Excuse me. I'll find it later. I mean, it allows you to pasture animals underground, like here. You like it when it stays in the caverns? Then expose it to sunlight. Like, if I remove these floors, then yeah, they'll stay in the caverns. Looks sort of yucky. Y'all just have terrible taste, my friends. Cavern moss is a sign of dwarven success. It means that you've been digging, as a good dwarf should. Is your dwarf dead already? Of course, naturally. Of course you're dead. I don't remember where I put bodies. I have zero recollection of just about anything I've done in this fort, so I need to explore this fort a wee bit. But yes, of course your dwarf's dead. Why would I let them live? That's ridiculous. Once again, I have no memory of where I put bodies. Right, over here, yes. This is where I put bodies. I don't remember what happened to Moreb's body. But I do have a ghost from Moreb around. Did you even have a dwarf in this fort? I'm not seeing one. Yeah, you never had a dwarf in this fort, so... not that I'm aware of, anyway. Yes, that sounds right. You didn't have an animal, did you? No? I don't think you did. Like, I'm pretty sure you didn't. Pretty sure you didn't. So anyway, as I was saying, this was a surface fort and it was a castle. We only have gold in this fort. This character is the only remaining original Navy SEAL leader, as you can see, SEAL leader. And he was, or is, a elf who owned a bunch of slaves, which were all of these various weaponsmiths and other things, necromancer creatures that are in my fort now. Using DF hack, I forced them to join the fort, and now this character lives up here on this roof and right above my beehives. I figured that was a punishment fitting of somebody who was keeping slaves. Dead by never living, Afridu, exactly. I don't need your slander thrown at my beautiful cavern moss YouTube chat and Twitch chat, so I'm going to ignore all bad takes on the good moss of my fortress forever now. That's it. Period. So essentially, these are dwarves who moved into this castle forcibly, freed the slaves, and imprisoned the elf on the roof to be stung by bees forever. I just happen to be looking right now, but if you want faster responses to questions, do ask them in the Twitch chat instead of the YouTube chat. It was an Atom Smash. You played Dwarf Fortress and you wanted to rebuild it, so you were not able to designate a stockpile. Do not designate a stockpile. You use a dump zone, and then you dump stuff out of a stockpile into the spot using the dump zone.
Crypt metal, crypt metal, crypt metal.
Don't put a stockpile there. Stockpile won't work. You know, my favorite cavern layers are the ones that are just completely barren and full of bloodthorn trees. True story. We are also making mead and honey and other things, which I can actually queue up a task for. I need to automate that job. But yeah, this fortress is pretty small and still pretty new. Still pretty fresh. Metal Fuse, thanks for the 5 months. And George, thanks for the 7 months. And I do have to say, thank you very much for those resubs, guys. You guys are the reason that we're able to do this. It's why the big videos that people like exist. It's why the streams exist. It's why basically all of the work that I do on this channel exists. Because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to afford to do this. So thank you for, you know, tuning in and watching the streams. And especially thank you to those of you who choose to subscribe, throw bits, do the super chats or gift subs, because straight up, like, without you guys, this channel wouldn't exist. The like content industry that I'm a part of, streaming YouTube videos and all that, has been on a downward trend recently due to the state of the planet, and my channel is one of the few that is still kind of holding. So thank you for allowing me to continue to afford my mortgage payments. I appreciate you guys. Words cannot fully express how much I am thankful for that. Prue, thank you very much for the 11th month. That's Prime. I'm just going to move this. Actually, I am planning to pave this, regardless of whether or not, like, I was defending the cavern moss, but just none of this. And I would like to continue to, alter ego. This is Jet, yes. Correct. YouTube chat. And on Giles. Thank you very much for the... Is it Giles or Giles? Thank you very much for subscribing for 3 months in advance. And for the 7 months in total. And for the 5-pack. Holy shit. Wasabi Chunk withdraws from society. So I need to figure out what in the hell I'm going to do with these necro experiments. And these necro experiments. They do seem to be pretty well armed. I'm kind of tempted to just cage trap them, but honestly, that's a wee bit cheesy. So I'm not totally positive what the current plan is. But we got to work somewhere from it. Where did I hook you up? You are right there. The other thing that I'm building with this fort is I'm trying to make as big of a library as I can reasonably put together. So I'm slowly building this taller and taller and taller and taller. We're also making flour and growing rye, amongst other things. Oats, rye, spelt, etc. And it looks like we're getting a gem-related artifact, which is cool. Let's see what you go for. And of course, you go grab Jet. Was that gem-related? No, sorry, a stonemason, not a gem cutter shop. For some reason, that looked like a gem cutter shop to me. So because I'm very limited on weapons and armor, less limited on weapons, more limited on armor, I've made an armorsmith's guild. So I'm kind of hoping that dwarves who... there we go, there's the gems. So I'm kind of hoping that dwarves who go into strange moods will make more armor weapons, but apparently this dwarf is a more skilled miner than armorsmith, so I'm getting not what I wanted this time, which is a bit of a shame. I thought I was hearing the combat sounds, but I think it's actually just a truck idling outside. Also, that is a level 3 hype train. It needs 7 subscriptions or $31 in bits to level up. If you happen to have a Prime sub on your account, think about me, you know? Because now's a good time to use it. Mesa Music, hello. It's good to see you. Only gold swords can only be made if they're artifacts. Mastercraft. Button, says Bob. Now it needs 6. Thank you very much for the 17th month. Welcome back. Thanks for pushing the button. And for helping these streams exist. I like the color of turquoises. They look really nice. So let's see where we're at. No, kind of short on the jet at the moment. Oh, it's because it's all paused. They're mostly doing unrelated tasks. What is everybody up to currently? A lot of socializing and things. I go through and unforbid a few things, but not everything. Is this in the burrow? It is. I just need to check burrow real quick.
Emstivoy Volkodev cheered. X200. This is a blind stream. All craft dwarfship is of the highest quality.
That explains a lot.
Crypt notes.
Have I dug down yet? So as far as depth goes, I've dug down a bit. I've gone down to the first cavern layer, although some interesting things have happened down here. So we saw a gremlin, and so I made a gremlin trap. I clearly haven't caught one yet. If I go here and type in cage, we have a troglodyte, but ideally we will catch a gremlin. That would be really cool if we did. But yeah, we haven't done much down in the caverns yet. I probably should close this off a bit because I'm very scared of Forgotten Beasts. Like, this may end up just being the entryway to, like, my space over here. Like, I might block it off here, block it off down here kind of deal. Because I'm a little bit worried about Forgotten Beasts due to our lack of weapon. When it comes to the military, you know, we've got, like, Marks dwarves with wooden and bone bolts. I do have a dwarf with a weapon who's got a gold mace and apparently is currently completely naked. Why are you naked? Why? Why? Thank you for the little hype train chat. 10 subscriptions and $2. Means a lot. First hype train of the week. Please wear leather armor, Dwarf. I know we have leather armor available. He has a boot on. He also has artifact pants. This is a bulky gold greaves. So he does have pants on. I just want him to have a shirt. So he doesn't get upset about being uncovered. There you go. He's slightly more armed now. Armored. ED now? Armored. I'm also going to go footwear and say high boot. Which is just forever going to say that it's not fully... What? Oh, Moreb was finally laid to rest, which is good. Can I update this? Maybe high boot made of leather. I'm pretty sure I've got leather high boots. No? Maybe it's because you've got the one gold one on. It's probably because you've got the one gold one on. And over here, I need to get you... Do you not have access? No, you have access. Doesn't feel anything after having no shit. You know what? Screw it. Where's some other uniform thing? It's fine. You feel like shirt is optional? Sure, but like I still don't want him to die. Like that's pretty important. Also, let's just say wood shield, because I know I have those. I do know that I have those. And Wasabi Chunk, the metalsmith, has created Uzalistmed, a jet throne, and offers it to the Curse of Knowing. Well, at the very least, that is possibly the coolest throne we could have. My diplomat requires a throne. Oh, also, we have a bunch of barons in the fort, because my faction has, I think, a population of 6 before I started this fort. So we have a bunch of, like, random diplomats and stuff. And these are offices that I'm slowly building. I'm just going to throw this down here and give this to my diplomat. Although it's currently being hauled somewhere. Let's see what the description of it is first. This is a jet throne. All craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with round jet cabochons and emerald-cut turquoise emerald-cut turquoises. There we go. It is decorated with rope reed, and this object menaces with spikes of jagged, bright metal. No, it menaces with spikes of jet. On the item is an image of glaze papers. You gotta glaze that paper, chat. The jagged, bright metal mace in dog leather. Sure, certainly. Very blingy, not very combative, I suppose. So now that I've forbidden and unforbidden it, I'm just going to go to here. Throw that in there. I'm also going to go up to here. Place the gold throne, and let's also do table. But yeah, this can be the office for my diplomat. I will put stairs in these and make these look nicer with time, but... Progress is being made slowly. Slowly. To see how I made the gremlin trap? It is a support, it is a lever, and it is one piece of flooring that's connected with a grate, because grates are not load-bearing. So something comes up here and pulls this lever. This floor immediately collapses, which causes them to fall and skid around. And if you're lying down and you step on a cage trap, you get caught in the cage regardless of if you're trap avoid. It's like knocking you into the trap, essentially. So if something pulls this lever, they'll either get crushed by the floor, hopefully that won't happen, or they'll get landed in, you know, one of these traps. The Gremlin video Gazoom also runs over that concept really quickly. So if you want, like, you know, maybe a better, faster description of that, that'll hopefully keep you covered there. Why do I have so many fucking puppies? What the fuck? We're gonna have to eat some puppies in a minute. I'm sorry to all the puppy lovers in chat. I'm also gonna have to geld all of my war dogs. And you. Lonely. My militia captain now has 2 pet war dogs. 2 of them. It depends. Sometimes they'll specify if they want a specific cloth, and sometimes they don't. But usually if they want cloth, they want plant cloth. Because otherwise they would say wool, or thread, yarn, or they would say silk. So I realize the kind of ambiguous response to that is a bit bothersome, but it is the truth. Oh, I'm already slaughtering puppies. Well, that explains a lot. That explains a lot. I'm also out of wood. Okay, well, I suppose that the... Tibbe, thank you very much for the $10.
_Tibbe cheered. X1000. Great job on the new video. I saw it last night and it's great.
I'm glad you liked it. Appreciate you, mate. Seriously. Chat, the Name Something redemption is up if somebody wants to name something. It's been up for a bit. I figured I would just mention it so we can get it cycling. But thank you. Appreciate it. I'll say Devil Dawn. Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with how that video turned out. I mean, I think that, like, it's always easy to for me to just, like, point out flaws in things that I've made, but I'm quite happy with how that one turned out. I think that the result was pretty slick. So you're going to the caverns. Oh, another thing about the caverns. The caverns are not... The entry to the caverns are not in the fortress. They're in front of the fortress. Because I'm kind of thinking about using Forgotten Beasts, which there are none on the map right now, as defense. Is kind of my hope. You just captured a vampire in your fort, so you're saying that you're gonna try and make a vampire fort then? You still don't get water mechanics? Water mechanics takes time, Seb. If you want to make gold armor, then, like, just go to the game raws. And then look up armor materials, and then just you need to change one thing. Like, it's like a 3-character raw edit. In fact, there's probably just a Wikipedia or a Dwarf Fortress wiki explanation of how to do it. That's probably very, very, very straightforward. There's also a cave crocodile up here somehow. Well, I will whack it to death with an axe. Go. Oh, well. You're too busy sleeping, so maybe, yeah, you'll go kill it before you go to sleep. Although you're moving very slowly because you're, you know, entirely kitted out in gold gear. But let's see how that gold thing is working. Bashes the cave crocodile in the head with his Concore, which is a great name for a thing. Roses are red. What am I naming, by the way? Which is the gold mace. Seems to be pretty effective. I mean, I don't have any... I've never seen a were-emu. I don't think those exist, do they? Mark's dwarves are shooting lots of bolts, too. See, this is the problem with the current status of the weapons in this fort. Maybe I should go get me some obsidian, just so I can make some swords. Well, that's that, I guess. So many cave crocodiles. So many. So many. All right. Let's close this drop. The Forgotten Beast Limthol has come. I was about to say let's close this bridge. That's very good timing. Has come. It has a pair of branching antennae and a bloated body. Beware its webs. I'm not going to complain about that one bit. Dorothy the Door. Do you know where you want Dorothy to be approximately, or is it just, or is it dealer's choice here? This is perfect timing. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, huge skinless iguana. It has a pair of branching antennae and a bloated body. Beware its webs. Terrifying. Whatever I reckon should be a Dorothy. Well, I mean, obviously I a Dorothy. I think Dorothy is a maple wood door. That's Dorothy. Right here. Right next to the trading depot currently. So where's this beast at? Have you killed anything? It's killed a Monera. In pure evils. Only the purest. The Flies of Warding is the only place it's been before. 1349 years old. And it has full access to the surface. And let's see, did I get my fortress shut? I did. And I did. So I don't think it can get into my fortress. It's going to go fight the siege. Do you guys think that we're going to clear the siege with this? And is the beast going to fall? I'd love to know your thoughts. For the Twitch chat, I'd say press 1 if you think the beast is going to fall. Press 2 if you don't. And I'm going to run a poll in the YouTube chat. I'm curious what they think. I mean, I could make a poll in Twitch chat also, but it doesn't really... I actually kind of have polls disabled in Twitch. Because believe it or not, I would rather just say, hey, chat, what do you think? Type in a number. Because it doesn't matter anyway. I'm just curious. Mods could do it in the YouTube chat as well, but... I'm also going to deny their parlay and hope that they don't fly, because a lot of them have wings. Considering they're all up here. Where are you going, beast? Oh. You know, there's a whole army of things that you could be murdering to death. But instead you go kill the one naked mole dog on the surface. Not necessarily. I mean, because strength in Dwarf Fortress is generally size-based, and it is listed as huge. Which I would say makes it strong, just kind of by default. I mean, he certainly did fuck him up, let me tell you. So YouTube chat says it's gonna die. I really hope it doesn't have a way in. I mean, actually, they theoretically could get in here, but... Please don't climb into the fort. That would be awkward. I'm now just, like, suddenly worried that they have a way in, but I don't think they do. Just because of the direction they're going. They may also just, like, walk up to the door and then turn around. Also gonna tell oh, no, not you. Just you. I'm gonna tell my Marks dwarves to go stand here and practice a wee bit. Yep, they're shooting bolts. Forgotten Beast is killing another naked mole dog. He's got a vendetta against naked mole dogs, I suppose. Hopefully this beast ain't like, these necromancer experiments, they my people. No, he ain't. Okay, so. Beast runs into the fighting, begins shooting out many webs. These creatures can be webbed, unlike a lot of other things. So these things that he's fighting currently are called Dellercolmans beasts. Which are very large feathered decapods. They have mandibles and a pale pink feathers, which are downy, kind of like a crab. This night creature was first created by the Dwarven necromancer Olin Steelspreads, Dent of Dentmighty, after horrible experiments on horses in tire fields. Wait, what, Elfie? What can't we do? But, oh, what, like mods can't do it? I think editors might be able to, but not to be mean, I don't really want to give you editor perms. Okay, so it's lost the ability to stand. Are they getting hits in on it? Forgotten Beast kicks the creature in the head. Yeah, so it just like completely obliterated those. It may actually survive this, which would be good for me. Okay, it's heavy bleeding now. It can't... Okay, so it's going to die. It can no longer breathe because they've, I guess, destroyed its lung. Yeah. The pikeman actually stabbed it in the upper body with an iron pike, which tore apart muscle and tore the left lung. So it can no longer breathe because... did they destroy the lung? Oh, okay. Well, it can no longer breathe. Why so many experiments? Because old world, and there's lots of necromancers in the area. And they've killed it because they were able to, like, completely obliterate its... lungs. These are all dead. Because it's the year 1073. And we're near 4 functioning necromancer towers? That's why so many experiments. So are they still alive? Are they still sieging, is the question. Yes, it looks like they are. I can't tell. Are you guys... Oh, wow, there's more. Are they leaving the map, or are they regrouping? I can't tell. It almost looks like they're leaving the map here, but... Have I hooked this up to a lever yet? Down here. Yes, I have. Okay. So because I've hooked this up to a lever, I'm going to open this. I don't know. I guess that's up to your headcanon, Babushka. Like, from my perspective, the player in Dwarf Fortress is like a weird non-side conforming, like, director of events or something. Sort of like Q fucking with everybody in Star Trek. And also now I see that in the YouTube chat. I look at the YouTube chat about a third of the time, so. Conceders Tunnel now. They have not patched that. That is something that they are working on. I don't know what it's going to look like when it actually makes its way into the game. Dwarves are doing some pretty decent jobs with their bolts, actually. This one bruised some muscles, which she says improved his armor, which is kind of funny. I don't know what that's going to look like. You need to realize that them working on something doesn't mean it's already in the game. So I'm going to catch as many of them in cages as I can. What? Romanoid was found dead. Did some... Oh. Romanoid must have been in the caves. Well, rest in peace, Romanoid. Considering where he's located. Must have literally just walked out. I can also probably cancel this. Sorry, Romanoid. You died valiantly. Let's see what actually happened. Yeah, it seems like he fired some bolts and then charged. Must have been gathering materials or something from the caverns. His hemp tunic was ripped to shreds. Did a bunch of missing and then says, I've been injured badly. This leaves me so shaken. Slashes the armor smith in the right foot with her bronze scimitar. Oh, I see. That's the creature, not the dwarf, with a bronze scimitar. And then you got bit in the lower body, which bruised the muscle. It latched on firmly, and you've been found dead. They hacked all your limbs off, yeah. They turned you into the Black Knight. But yeah, that's the thing when it comes to siegers. I don't know if they're just going to directly tunnel. Tarn's been very cagey, which is usually the case because he likes surprises. So I have a feeling they're not going to just start digging straight down and then beeline directly to your fortress. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit more methodical than that, how Tarn's talked about it, but I don't know, so. Not right now. And they haven't been since 2008, when the game became, well, 2007, when the game became 3D. Which is why you don't really see people using catapults and ballistas. The reason they aren't is they're just not reliable. I like reliable forms of defense. They're not even remotely reliable. Tarn's disappointed a couple times, but hopefully not this time. YouTube chat is the forgotten stepchild because YouTube chat acts like the forgotten stepchild. If YouTube chat stood up and was as active as the Twitch chat and helped keep the stream funded as much as the Twitch chat, then yeah, I mean, then there would be more chatting with the Twitch chat, than the Twitch chat. But the YouTube chat has about 1/10 of the activity per day and about 1/5 of the watch time. On average, people on YouTube watch for about 20 minutes. On Twitch, on average, people watch for about an hour. So it's if you want more active responses, watch on Twitch. Otherwise, I can't help you. But at the same time, I do watch you and I do talk to you. And at some point, I will just cease acknowledging all of the people who are just like, I hate Twitch or he hates us on YouTube, because I don't hate either of you. Y'all are just silly. But ballistas are getting remade or reworked for the next major patch. So we'll see what that ends up looking like when it's done. Turns around. How's the fort? You know, still early. I'm wondering if there's something behind them. Why is there a naked mole dog down here? Certainly. I mean, I might make ballista. I might make ballistas in this fort. I don't recommend that you prioritize them until the next patch. They're more like a weird novelty that can be used in some niche situations, but I wouldn't describe them as reliable or good. Yeah, I like the look of them. I prefer catapults just as a fun thing to use, though, because they're basically just like long-range stone traps. Okay, so they are now retreating. They mostly just make the enemy dodge out of the way. Oh, also... Oh, whoops. I was going to say there's a dead experiment there, but no, that was just Romanoid. I'm not surprised that didn't go well, Smallbean. Where have we embarked, Dwarfs? We are... Where am I? There I am. I am on top of the castle of SKULLPONDERS of the Curse of Knowing, and we are trying to build a library in a pre-existing surface structure, which I'm renovating to make not look like garbage. And we're also in the middle of everything crazy and psychotic and silly. So while I have taken over a Dwarven Hillix and now maintain control of it, there's 1, 2, 3 Necromancer towers that are close by, and I destroyed one that's slightly south of me. This one, Wives' Tomb. And I'm definitely not looking at the YouTube chat, that's for sure. Naranjo? Gee. It's really funny when like people are just like, he never reads the YouTube chat, as I'm reading the YouTube chat. Like, most of the pain that YouTube chat gives itself is self-inflicted. Just, I respond to 2 things from the Twitch chat, and then I get accusations of being ignored. But yes, Aiden. I have a feeling it'll be more like chipping away at outside walls and stuff. Because I'll tell you this. If the way Tarn ends up implementing enemies digging is just them beelining directly for the center of your fortress through a tunnel, I will turn it off, like, immediately. So, and if I turn it off immediately, then as far as I'm concerned, the whole experiment has failed. I'm gonna allow the dwarves to, whoops, refill all of these traps. And I'm gonna get tasks up and running again. Well, those are all large anyway, so. Well, currently I have a singular gold artifact weapon, which is an artifact mace called Cancor. And Cancor is a, you know, an artifact gold mace. But I always feel bad when I see these, so. It's an artifact gold mace, which is my only usable metal weapon in the fort. But I'm mostly using wooden bolts, bone bolts, and I'm thinking about digging down to obsidian to get some obsidian short swords, because I think that'd be fun. Or just pouring some water onto lava, because I do have both water and lava. Best of luck, Fredio. Take care of yourself, friend. I mean, this is the only few things that Tarn has. This is the few things that Tarn has posted, right? Sword Death in YouTube chat is he's talked about like reinforced walls. So I guess like basically requiring the player to reinforce walls for more consistent. If you're wondering why I'm just hitting X, it's because it's faster than unpausing them all, and these are all automated jobs, so they will just kick into gear immediately by themselves without me doing anything. Tarn has talked about reinforced walls. Apparently, like he made a blog post like yesterday, I think. Let me check. I saw it vaguely and then like immediately spaced on it. Yeah, this. Well, I thought I was going to continue along with siege planning, refreshed and cheerful after coming back from a little week-long vacation at the beginning of this month. Instead, I got 3 weeks of fever and infection and misery, and fortunately, I'm now feeling better. So I'll be able to continue on work now, but it'll be a bit before I've pulled something together since I haven't been able to work at all. I think he, like, flew back to be with Zach for the beginning of this month. I think it was somebody's birthday. Putnam has been doing Lewis stuff, and the audio people are starting to take a look at fort mode, so maybe we'll get clicky buttons soon. And the artists have produced various cool things for sieges in the meantime, and siege engines, reinforced walls, etc. So here's to a better and healthier June, which is why we didn't get a patch last month, because Tarn was sick. I will just state this, Ada Not. Elves use grown wood, like arrows, right? And bolts. Dwarves are using wood, meaning dwarves are hacking up the wood and making it into a thing, which is very dwarfy. So using wood in a dwarven fort is very dwarfy because the methods used to create the material is completely different, right? It's like the difference between like, I don't know, glass blowing and pouring glass into a mold. You know? It's like two very different techniques using similar materials. So as far as I'm concerned, using wooden weapons and using wooden materials in a dwarven fort is extremely dwarfy because elves would never do that. So if you're worried about being too elf-like in your forting, don't worry because you are nothing like them. You might think you are, but that's your own preconceived notions of how dwarves function, right? And not really you actually being anything like an elf. Right? Like, if this was a elven construction, this fingerlime wood hatch, then it would be a grown fingerlime wood hatch. And this door wouldn't be a fingerlime wood door, it would just be a grown wood door, or a grown fingerlime wood door. It would be like if somebody... You know, it's sort of like a watermelon versus a square watermelon. Like a square watermelon is because a human put a box on a watermelon and grew a watermelon. Not because nature did that. Exactly. If the elves are pissed at you, then you're dwarfy. You know, I wonder if that's even possible with Wooden Anvil. I kind of doubt it. At least not in the vanilla game, probably, but now you have me wondering. Okay, well... Does Romanoid have a tomb? That is the question. Yes, you do. Your body isn't forbidden, is it? No, it's not. Okay, so somebody's coming to get you. That's a shame. Well, I mean, I'm sure the elves would be all right with metalworks if there was an ethical method of acquiring metal, which I think all metal requires destroying nature, which is the antithesis of elves. Anyway, for all of those of you who love to go to war with elves, we're probably going to go to war with elves in this fort for some reason, and I'm not sure why. Maybe you'll figure it out in the next 10 seconds. I I also need to acquire lava, which is going to be a bit of a pain. I'm kind of low-key thinking about making obsidian. Because I've got this down here, which is mighty convenient. But, like, what I might do is hack down these. Oh, one of the few things I am allowed to make into metal weapons or use in my fortress are metal picks and metal battle axes, because that literally is one of my only sources of metal. So I think I'm going to lock this area, like this big ol' lava deposit here, and separate it from the rest of the fort, or separate it from the rest of the caverns. We're going to isolate it. And I'm going to spend the next little bit of time separating this from the, you know, the rest of the caverns. And then building a functional lava spot down here that I can use for forges without having to pump it anywhere. Lava piston would be hard because it wouldn't get launched. It would only get launched as because I don't have so like lava pistons work when, like, if the stone comes down to this level. So I would have to like move the lava over here and then piston it up like through the cave. So I would have to move it into like basically this formation here and then piston it up to here. Nah, not currently. I might make a tower at some point, or if I can find some lava safe rock, I could do that. Or if I end up with access to glass somehow. But I don't see myself making a lava piston. We'll say there's a bunch of gold here, though. Not that I'm short. Do I not have a woodcutter? No, I do. Although I'm going to move it over to sapphire. Let's also see what we have for cabinets. Ah, right. Yeah, I was making gold cabinets, wasn't I? These dwarves are going to get some real fancy cabinets. Really fancy cabinets. Also, the name something redemption is up if somebody would like to name someone or something in the fort. This is a really strong fortress? I don't think so, but I'm glad you feel that way, YouTube chat. Kind of feel like I need to forbid a bunch of stuff. Any available nobles? Good question. I got a chief medical dwarf. Does Snail have any relatives? Would you like to be a family member of a noble? Because Snail has an older brother named Como, who's available. Does that work for you? Or would you prefer the chief medical dwarf? This dwarf. Also, did you have a dwarf in this fort previously, Bask? Can't remember. I just want to add a number if you did. No, you didn't. Okay. Probably thinking of the were creature in the last. Likes a little excitement now and then, occasionally overindulges, is assertive, and isn't given to flights of fancy. By the way, to those of you who've seen the Vampire Fortress, the throne art is available in mug format, in multiple kinds of mugs, and also available in sticker format over on the merch store. If you type in ! merch here in Twitch, you'll get a link. And then the YouTube chat should just be in the description. If it's not, let me know. And I'm currently prototyping some hats. I'm just not sure what the quality's like, so I ordered a sample. I'm thinking about maybe making some minecart certification hats. And maybe bringing back the fake brewery as a hat, if they're decent quality. He likes a little excitement now and then, and occasionally overindulges. And also, for those of you who have dwarves or characters in this fort, let me know if you want me to check in on them. He likes a little excitement now and then, and he occasionally overindulges. He's assertive, and he isn't given to flights of fancy. He has a noticeable lack of perseverance and has a tendency to consider ideas and abstractions over practical applications. He has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others, and he often feels... Wait, what? He has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others and often feels nervous. There we are. He can handle stress, and he doesn't often feel envious of others. He generally acts with an arrow focused on the current activity, and and he isn't particularly ambitious. I kept on reading that line a second time. He's currently more rude and currently more fearless. I should throw you in the military. Runs his fingers through his hair when he's trying to remember something, and when he's speaking, he usually lowers his eyes. When he's thinking, his body becomes very still. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about much anymore. Well, the same here. I'll just show you what I mean. I should make a hat with literally an image of the Vile Force of Mug on it. A mugged hat. So this isn't for sale yet, but this is the prototype of the design. But I'm not certain what their embroidery quality is like, so when my sample arrives, I will decide. These are what I'm thinking. Would a mug hat just be a mat? A mouse pad with a picture of a mug on it, and we'll call it a mug hat? Is that... It's a mouse mug hat. A mat. Oh, so Le Musketeer, it's good to see you. You know, like, when Tarn was saying that goblins would be able to destroy walls, Sword Death, the first thing that came to mind was, what happens if I make just, like, a bucket in midair with held up by a single block of wall? Will the goblins just go knock down that wall? Because if they do, I just want to build, like, platforms everywhere with held up by a singular wall and just watch the goblins crush themselves. Like... I mean, it's adjustable. Like I said, I'm going to wait until it arrives. It'll arrive sometime in the next week and a half. So whenever it arrives, I will show you guys the prototype, and I'll decide if it exists. You can flip the cap upside down and pour your coffee in it. You know, this is a pretty specific YouTube reference, but that sounds like something that... what's the name of that YouTuber who makes bad robots? Simon Geets? Getch? Is that how you say her last name? Simon Getch or something? That YouTube... The lady what made a Tesla into a truck before Tesla made a Tesla truck. And then was very unimpressed with the Tesla truck. That lady. Truckla, I think is what she called it. Well, the thing is, like, Tarn has said that, like, talking about, like, speculating about sieges right now for a second. Tarn has said that he wants the goblins to just not take the same route every time. Basically, he just mostly wants them to be a bit smarter. Which I think is interesting, and I'm super okay with that because that'll like give you reason to have multiple ways of defending a fort, which is exciting and cool. Yeah, no, I believe it. Because, like, RimWorld invaders are very, very, very gamey. Just go to YouTube and type in Truckla. Just go to YouTube and type in Truckla. I've seen a couple of them, and they are a pretty dastardly ugly vehicle in regards to real Tesla trucks, but there is kind of like a weird amusement, though, whenever I see them, because they do genuinely look like they fell out of an N64 game. It's like somebody low-polyed Earth. Yeah, not a fan. Never have been. Probably never will be. Dadrick. Although, who knows? Maybe at some point in Dwarf we'll get teleporting mages. That actually wouldn't surprise me all that much. Sure, but that's still they're arriving on the edge of the map and then flying into your fortress, which is pretty different than surprise they're in the middle of your fortress, you know? I guess like the closest you could get to that is like a Forgotten Beast, but that's also kind of your own fault. Like if a Forgotten Beast arrives on the map and you forget to, you know, seal it in, then, well, that's kind of on you. Shame on me, I suppose, at that point, right? Yeah, but they're still flapping in from the edge of the map in regards to Kias. Also, I think I did that back when I played that game, Elmiran. Truly one of my favorite videos of all time on YouTube is when Simone saw the vomit Tesla truck for the first time and just looks incredibly unimpressed. Like, really? Why didn't they just make it like a normal truck? It was literally kind of her take. It's a good era of the internet, that's for sure. We also really need some more migrants in this fort. Like, bad. If the enemies could target easy cave-ins? I'm not going to say what I would like and what I won't like. I will be judgeful when it's implemented. And I've learned this the hard way. I can't speculate about features in Dwarf Fortress responsibly. Because if I do, somebody will hear me and go, oh yeah, no, that's a neat speculation. I could see how that could work or how that couldn't. And somebody else will hear me and say, Blind said that they're adding this. Or they didn't make it the way you thought it would. And it just inevitably ends with disappointment. I did a shit ton of speculating before Premium came out and was wrong on almost every single thing that I speculated about, except for a few things. And lots of regret there. And I don't really want to do that again. So are they adding that? Well, they're adding the thing that you suggested. Certainly. Most 100% def for realsies. No, I don't speculate anymore. I learned my lesson. Where is your bedroom? Dwarf. It's this one. Taz, you need the nicest chest that I can offer you. Which isn't made of gold, because you already have a gold cabinet, you needy son of a... You need to make a lot of furnaces on the surface, and after about 3,000 years of toxic emissions into the atmosphere, it'll build up a thick enough greenhouse gas layer in the atmosphere, Jeremy Balls, that the water won't freeze. I'm bullshitting. That doesn't work that way. Put lava underneath it. Or settle somebody somewhere closer to the equator where you're not going to get as much winter. But putting lava underneath the water will stop it from freezing. You know, it's really funny. I was fully planning to completely seal over all of this fungus because it's underneath flooring, right? But I think I'm going to leave it. And I will leave it until nobody complains for a few hours. I'm going to leave my little fungus garden, and I will enjoy the majority of it. And if you don't like it, cry me a fucking river. God damn it. What was I doing here? There we go. I'll expand it a little bit more on this side. And then this is going to get dug down again. Fungus is friend, man. And sometimes food. They're for certain adding at least one thing. This is facts. I mean, these dwarves are the funnest guys. I think personally having cavern trees growing on the surface is one of the coolest visuals you can have in Dwarf Fortress. So, 'tis just me. Mostly because it's really hard to actually get them to grow on the surface. We're also in an ad break, so I will pause the game until the ads are done. Really wish YouTube had a better way of saying when ads were running. Because it really doesn't. Because even if like I use the global ad breaks the same way I do on Twitch, it doesn't give me a notification in the chat when they're on. I have to actually have the dashboard running, which ain't great. Also, YouTube folks, don't forget to leave a like on the stream. There's about 100 of you watching that haven't liked the stream yet, at least, because there's 159 of you watching on YouTube and only 50 something likes. We can make that like number go up. Appreciate you for tuning in, though, as well as the 210 of you here on Twitch. Here, let me grab you the link. The command on the what do you call it? To go to the YouTube channel is !YT, but I haven't updated it for like streams because that would require me to update it literally every stream because YouTube doesn't have consistent stream URLs, which will drive me nuts until my life ends. It's like, why do you have to give me a new URL for every single stream I do? I don't think you have to, YouTube. There's a better way to do this. And every other streaming platform has done it that way. Why don't you do it that way, you antiquated piece of grumble? Is there a jellyfish man in this game? Are you asking because you want to make the cast of SpongeBob? There are jellyfish. I don't know. Are there? I don't think there are jellyfish men. There's sponge men. Are you telling me that you're a boon tuber in the looking in a mirror, being a noob tuber? I still love the like apocryphal thing that like supposedly the term noob came from Ed Boon's website. Because Ed Boon, the like director of Mortal Kombat's last name, his website is his last name backwards, which is noob. So noob.com was a thing for a really long time, which was just a list of Mortal Kombat high scores for a while. I don't know if that's true, that that's where the term originated, but that's where I like to think that it originated. Now we've got Twitch propaganda in the YouTube chat. That's funny. Can you use birds as scouts? I mean, not really scouts, but like you could chain one up somewhere or pasture one somewhere and things will spot it. They're not going to fly too much if they're tamed, though, unless they're under extreme duress. Shock44, thanks for the Prime subscription. Appreciate you greatly. Did it come from LeetSpeak for newbie? The thing is, noob.com, as far as I know, predates LeetSpeak. Also, LeetSpeak uses numbers. And I certainly saw people do that, but I don't think that's necessarily where it originated. Yeah, Noob Scibot predated modern internet, exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just Ed Boon's last name. And then was like co-opted by MemeSpeak, more so than LeetSpeak. Oh, game's paused. I'm like, why is it taking you so long to dig through that? When was that website created? I'd have to go look at Internet Archive. But it's early internet. So 1998 is the first capture on the Wayback Machine. December 6th, 1998 for noob.com. Was Boon and Tobias backwards? Yeah, no, absolutely. It was registered in 1997. Yeah, and the first capture is like roughly a year later. How much further down do I need to go? 2 more levels to hit rock? I think we can do that. I think I can do that for my my moat. We started playing online games in the early 90s as a way to play multiplayer. And the only way to play multiplayer was to use a program called Kali. Also, Shock44 with the Prime subscription. Chat, can I get a round of beers? Isn't the proper spelling noob? I don't think so. What the surface village needs are war foxes? What are they going to do? Musk on the enemy? Like, are they going to go pee on them? Or run away in fear? I don't know. Like, a fox is like a cat stuck in the body of a knockoff dog. So, like, I don't think that would be particularly effective. Maybe giant war foxes? At least they'd smell worse. I mean, maybe if we're fighting kobolds, which kind of have a vermin appearance to them. Also, thanks for the $5, by the way, Allison, in the YouTube chat. You know, fun fact, I've never once in my entire life seen a functioning Dreamcast. I saw one plugged in and turned off at PAX once in the bring your own console room. But I've never once seen a functioning Dreamcast. I've never been in the same room with a functioning Dreamcast in my entire life. You still have one? Yeah, I mean, I didn't have consoles growing up, really. I had a Game Boy. Game Boy Advance SP was the first console that lived in my house. Gamers didn't really start getting super toxic past the 2000 era. I don't know. I've read about and seen images of a lot of really shitty Quake mods. So I don't know about that. Your Dreamcast won't save the time? Isn't that just like a battery that's dead then? It's usually what that means. Also, yeah, like, weren't arcades like a place that you'd go and get beaten up at one point? Like, it was a place where, like, not pseudo, but like, like gang members would hang out. And like, also in Japan to this day, like people play cash games in arcades, which is never going to lead to positive interactions with people. I don't know. I think that might be, I think saying that video game players didn't start getting shitty until the 2000s. I think they always were. Maybe you didn't notice they were until then. Which is also fair. A caravan has arrived. Hala Dwarfia. I didn't get to do this last time because there was zombies and necromancers on the map. And I got some wax crafts I can sell you for like tens of dwarf bucks. Also, I've got a bunch of honeycomb that needs to be made into wax crafts. I can't remember if I automated that or not. I may not have. Let's also go... Clear all this. I want to say that PSO2 is one of those games, like, I've never played them, but I know that people talk about them a lot, and it's one of those games that I see people talking about private servers relatively frequently. So if you do actually miss it, there's probably ways to play that. Like, it's probably one of those games that has, like, connected emulation projects and stuff in private servers. In fact, I guarantee you it does, if that's actually something that you're looking for. Just gonna sell those bows. These. It's a lot of bars. Ice Blue is giving away a Vampire Throne sticker in the Twitch chat here. If you type in !enter, you'll be entered for a chance to win. And I just screwed up my process of showing it on stream briefly, so just let me tab out so I can fix this. There we go. This thing. So if you'd like this to stick on something, pop into the Twitch chat and type in !enter. You have like a minute. Several different sizes are available. They're pretty cheap. And this is the same style of sticker. My water bottle, the biggest size. And I've had this on my water bottle for like 3 years now. So they do last quite well. Spot one of the mugs too. Hell yeah! I actually haven't looked at how many of them I've sold yet, but as of yesterday, I'd sold one. So you may be like the second person to buy one. Let's find out. You are, in fact, the second person to buy one. Well, actually, you're the first person to buy a black one. Sorry, the black ones don't go as big. Like, they literally don't make them as big. Did I draw it? No, I don't do digital paintings. I drew these, which will show up on the merch store eventually. But no, Goblin Art drew that one. He's on my Discord if you want to commission something from him. Yeah, black goes up to 15 and that's it. Buying a game with 20 to 40 floppy disks. That's a lot of floppy disks. Filler Bunny, if you click on that link that the bot just put into the chat, you can redeem your sticker. Thank you, Ice Blue, for checking out a giveaway. It's very, very kind of you. Literally tens. Yeah, tens whole values. The Outpost Liaison from the Mountain Homes says, I don't know where they're coming from because I don't have a mountain home, but I like this last name. Led Keckham. Led Keckham. It sounds like David Beckham, but like the dwarf version. Online gaming made toxicity more available. I think, okay, well, if you go back like 200 years, people used to make like when printing presses became sort of available to wealthy people, people used to just like make a flyer of somebody that they didn't like and then go one town over and then distribute it. It's like, so-and-so broke my fence and I'm going to disparage his entire family and talk about how his wife is sleeping with my neighbor and me. And here is 50 flyers, and then you pay somebody to go to the next town over and hand them out to everybody so that Sir Dumbfuck McGee over here gets disparaged. And, like, the internet just made it faster. Like, people have always been crappy, and anonymous internet, like, makes it worse. Were you alive 200 years ago, Powerly? Also, if you want to find some fun history, go look up American presidents from like 150 years ago doing that. Anonymous is checking out 4 Vampire Throne mugs. The black edition. Again, I screwed up my tabbing process. So I'm now going to fix it again. I managed to like get it at an angle where I can't full screen it, and so it just looks awful. And I keep doing it. Just need to tab out first. This mug. I think it's pretty cool. It says Winter Hearth on the front. It's got the Winter Throne. You know, if you want a vampire on a mug, exclamation point enter. There's 4 of them. But anyway, we meet with the Outpost aides, and they say there's much to share, and they've updated the civilization and world info. What requests do you have of our merchants? I'm just going to request wood. And I'm actually going to request coal. Maybe sandbags? Actually, let's do sandbags. Just sand in general. They have a need for handwear. Well, that'll be easy. Sure, I'll have plenty of used clothing for you. Reg Staff Squish. I wish your name was Reg Stuff Squish, but Tibbe, Neezer, Jezza, and Linkman. Also, hey, Linkman. It's good to see you. Are the winners. Just click on that redeem link. Pompeii has disparaging graffiti. As soon as there was writing, there was dickwads. One of my favorite things I've ever seen is like a ruin from ancient Greece, and it's just a giant penis drawn on a wall. I don't think that one's in Pompeii, but there is just like a wall from like ancient Greece with a dick on it. And it's like, you know, excellent. There's a lot of phallic motives in Pompeii. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, but I can't, like I said, I can't remember what town it was in. It's just one of those things where I found the Wikipedia page once and was reading it at 2 o'clock in the morning. Speaking of people that have been dead for a long time. Hi, Jesus. What's up? I think that when it comes to people being mean on the internet, I think people are just more widely policed for it now. And there's a book written by the journalist who wrote Men Who Stare at Goats, called So You've Been Publicly Shamed, which is basically just a book about, you know, people that get eviscerated off of the internet by the internet for being rude on the internet to people on the internet, more or less. And I really think that there's some, like, truth to that. I think I'm just gonna buy the brass because that platinum's too expensive. Graffiti has no originality. People are not creative, maybe. I don't know about no originality. Let's see. This is what? Milk. I don't need $1,000 barrel. That's ridiculous. Cave spider venom. That can go away. Dwarven beer. They also brought some picks, which I'm definitely buying. I'm also going to buy the cheaper sandbags and the gypsum plaster bags, actually. Don't need the cave wheat seeds. I'll buy the... Okay, I would have bought the Dwarven sugar, but that's too expensive. That silk is so expensive. I'm just going to buy all the cloth. Considering, like, my dwarves can just go underground and grab silk, like, that's quite expensive. I buy all the fish. I would like to do some fishing in this fort, though. I'm just not really set up for it right now. I'm going to try and trade for this, but don't quite have the value. I think I'm going to take... I mean, this is significantly lower value. Yeah, let's do that. Didn't want to piss them off too much. But yeah, to the 3 of you who won, or to the 4 of you who won, which was Tibbe, Neezer, Jezza, and Linkman. Please go redeem your mugs. Please and thank you. In YouTube chat, archaeologist here, look up Babylon or Babon, B-Y-B-O-N, Greek rock. It's basically a guy named Babon inscribed on a rock that he could lift it. It was 300 pounds and basically back then was pretty difficult with the average build. That sounds like a really heavy rock. Anonymous, thanks for the 50 bucks. That is a 316-pound rock. Wait, hold on. So is this just like the Greek equivalent of like Gym Bros flexing? I mean, like, people could deadlift that. So I'm inclined to believe it.
2 years, 2 beers, crypt beer, crypt beer.
Devil Dawn, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but thank you for gifting a subscription. And Nono Casa with the 24 months, the 2 years. A beer per year. Let's do it, chat. 2 beers for 2 years. Above his head? Pixar, it didn't happen. Someone better have inscribed it while an image of him holding it, or it didn't happen. But still, like, I don't know, like, go watch the strongman competitions on, like, ESPN 12 or whatever fucking channel it's on. Some big number of ESPN that nobody actually watches. Because as far as I'm concerned, shoutouts to Babon, I guess. Bybon? Bybons be Bybons. Speaking of archaeologist in YouTube chat, Pete, what is your opinion on the YouTuber Mini Minuteman? I personally think he's awesome and really like his stuff, but I'm actually really curious what the archaeology community thinks of him. ESPN 8, is that the channel that it's on? I don't know. I sometimes see it on at, like, public spaces and go, why the fuck does this exist? Shit's weird. Anyway, I'm just gonna offer this as a gift. And then trade this for, I don't know, a gem maybe? No. And another gem. What does he do? It's a picture from ancient Greece. Oh wait, if you're talking about Mini Minuteman, he is a archaeology YouTuber. Not always about archaeology, but almost always. He also then just like straight up talks about archaeology sometimes. Those are the ones I really like. Like I like when he goes to actual dig sites. I know that might sound kind of crazy, but you know, an archaeologist going to actual dig sites and then talking about them and educating people is kind of a novel concept in the current year. You see his stuff all the time? There you go, cool. Good to know. Milo Rossi is his real name. Most proficient available marksman. So not these. It could be any of these. I don't know if any of them are really proficient, but. Do you have preference of beard or non-dwarf? Because I got one without beard, one with beard, and then I got one non-dwarf. I don't think there's anything that I can unironically say that I enjoy about Big Bang Theory, so just based on being in Big Bang Theory, dislike. You're a 13-year-old lady, and I'm gonna call you Troll. She is truly fulfilled by assisting those in need and is very curious and sometimes to her detriment. She isn't given to flights of fancy and she is often, she isn't given to flights of fancy and she tends to be swayed by the emotions of others. She can handle stress and she is quick to anger, doesn't often feel envious of others, and finds obligations confining, and she is conflicted by this, and she believes in the, And she is conflicted by this since she believes in the importance of the rule of law. She prefers that everyone lives as harmoniously as possible and is moved by art and natural beauty and does not easily fall in love and rarely develops positive feelings and speaks deliberately when she's angry and doesn't care about anything anymore. She dreams of creating a great work of art and personally abhors those that would pursue the mastery of weapons and skill and finds the skill with weapons and fighting distasteful. Well, thankfully, crossbows aren't a weapon, it's a tool to end lives. Gib, which is your name, likes pig iron and picture jasper, finger lime wood, giant mongoose leather, and the color rose taupe, as well as windows, spiked balls, and, of course, skinny fowls for their social nature. When possible, she prefers to consume tuber beer and can't stand fire snakes. I'll say it, Bowerns. It's good to see you as well. It's also been a while. There's a lot of people that I've seen popping in recently that I haven't seen in ages. So it's good to see you. I know that like the majority of those moments though are like, oh, I used to work from home and now I'm back in the office, so I can't watch as much. It's like, oh. I'm glad that you have things in your life that you love, but I personally find Big Bang Theory to be one of the most obvious pieces of out-of-touch humor that is like publicly available right now and made by a large network. Like, it's just painfully out of touch in all of the worst ways, and I don't find it even remotely funny. Oh, so hey, Cyanide. There's a huge influx. I mean, I would say that's the same with any educational part of the internet right now. Pete in YouTube chat. Pete said it's super hard in the archaeology world right now because of an influx of AI videos. It's like, that's literally every single, I mean, that's politics. That's education of like almost every aspect. It's dieting. It's everything more or less. Oh, no, I mean, you're allowed to like it. I'll tell you this. Assuming they haven't changed the theme song, I like the theme song. Because I like the Bare Naked Ladies. So, like, that theme song fucking rocks. But that's maybe about the only thing I like about the Big Bang Theory now. Yeah, but I don't think it does a good job of making light of nerd culture, personally. Like, there are shows that do. Like IT Crowd. That's a fucking funny show. And does a good job. Basically, here's why the Big Bang Theory irritates me. Is because it's a show making fun of nerds by people who aren't nerds. Does that make sense? It's like all of the nerds in the writing room were fired before the show even started, is what it feels like. Because to me, it seems like a show that was written to appeal to people making nerds seem funny, but written by people who were bullying nerds, not by people who know what makes nerds funny. Does that make any sense? Not yet. Maybe after you suggested that, alter ego. So yeah, I think that's kind of my issue with Big Bang Theory. And like, if you like it, then, you know, by all means, enjoy. There was a few moments in that first season when I watched a bit of it that I found funny. But like, the more I watched of it, kind of the more I hated it. Is kind of the best way to put it for me. I think I'm also just going to knock down that wall because I think it'll look better with the door right there. On this side as well. Also, we're in an ad break, so I will keep the game paused. You had to go through the what the fuck was your password session? Ah, well, welcome back, Neezer. I like Jet in combination with things. I need to get some accent colors into here, but yeah, I do quite like it. Why did the mugs need a redemption arc? Because I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a pun for that, because that almost reads like a why did the chicken cross the road joke. I'm just trying to. I can't think of one. I'm not that funny, I guess. If I was a more talented person, I would make a funny, but I can't. Ditches are better in almost every way because moats generally do a better job of killing your own dwarves than the enemy, and almost half the enemies can just walk through them anyway. Anything that's undead or a necromancer creature and a lot of like titans and big creatures that can attack you will just walk through it without caring. So simply put, you kind of... You kind of want a dry mode. Unfortunately, I've had to see some young Sheldon in my life, yes. But ideally, I won't see any more of it. I mean, the Bronze Colossus don't swim. Bronze Colossus just don't care about water. Bronze Colossus is just indifferent to water's existence. These are going to be the fanciest fucking farmer's plots ever. I kind of want to plunk you down in the middle. Right there. Yeah, ditches with an overhang is going to be better in almost every aspect than something with actual, you know, water in it. If you're going to put water in yours, just make sure you have a way of draining it. That's kind of the big tip that I have for you. Is if you have a way of draining it, then yeah, go nuts. Nothing wrong there. Can things cross gaps in DF? If they jump, yes. I mean, I have a YouTube short of a dwarf handlebarring across a gap. Things can't climb up overhangs, which is what I'm planning on doing with this fort, is going down one more layer and making an overhang down here. Well, down here in the dirt. The problem is I may actually hit my well line. Kind of didn't think about that, but... I could actually make it go down one more, though, because I did pump the water in here. So because it's not freely flowing into here, it could go down further. It's weird. The dwarves aren't burying the necromancer creatures. I'm not sure why. I mean, things can usually jump to 2 to 3 tiles at most. So as long as, like, you're not giving them a way of jumping it, then you're kind of fine. Also, something I'm going to do. I'm just going to make 20. Let's make 10 out of whatever material. And if menacing spikes are less than 50, they'll make 10. Only if there's more than 20 wooden logs available. First time you built a lava moat was also the first time you learned goblins can jump. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, things can jump in Dwarf Fort. This is one of the reasons why I encourage everybody to play a little bit of adventure mode, because if you can do it in adventure mode, you can do it in fortress mode. Something can do it in fortress mode if you're able to do it in adventure mode. And that's like, you know, just kind of the important rule of thumb that you should always remember. It's like, if it's possible in adventure mode, they can probably do it in fortress mode. Can also grab 2 more miners now. Nothing can climb up an overhang. EXE. Just flat. Overhangs are impassable. But like, you know, if you have an overhang and then there's a tree here connecting to here. Something could climb across the tree and then climb up. Like, so, you know, sometimes they'll still surprise you and get around it in ways that you're not expecting, but nothing can get over an overhang just on its surface. If there is just an overhang there, nothing can surpass it. Oh, that's gold bars that I'm using as floors right now, which I don't want to do. Yeah, but a rock can... Okay, nothing can climb up an overhang. If something can fly, well then, welp. It kind of goes against, like, the logic of the discussion. Like, yeah, I mean, if you've got giant ravens on your map, or, like, giant osprey or sparrows or something, yeah, of course they can get over your fucking overhang. Duh. And rocks will also pass it when I throw them at your head. Mm-hmm. You know, I really like the way this roofing section here looks, and it's really handy because I can chuck a bunch of crafting shops up here. I'm going to deconstruct it because I'm tired of explaining to you guys why there's fucking moss up here. I'm happy that you guys are very observant and constantly notice, but I'm tired of explaining to you why there's moss here. So I'm just going to get rid of my nice patio here and not rebuild it. I give up. I don't think so, Sandberg. Did you have an animal, or were you a... Maybe you have died. Unless... Wait, what did you name your dwarf? Did you name it Sandberg or something else? The bittersweet moss? Yeah, I'm bitter. I'm not particularly sweet either. It's been on cooldown for 15 minutes, which means it has another 10 minutes of cooldown in regards to naming things. It should have a little countdown timer unless you have all cookies disabled on Twitch, in which case then it doesn't have a little countdown timer and I can't help you. That's funny. You're on mobile? Oh, well, then I also can't help you. I mean, you've been named in previous things, but yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think you've been named in this fort. Unless you named it something that wasn't Sandberg. Which some people do. Like, there you go, you've been put to rest, which means I could probably memorialize Sandberg. Or not Sandberg. I'm reading Sandberg while thinking about the name of the other dwarf. I can memorialize Romanoid. Now that that one's been done, because the other one's probably done. I'm pretty sure you've been named before, Sandberg. I seem to recall naming a dwarf Sandberg. Just not in this fort. So many random dwarfs getting laid to rest. I guess we finally got those bodies buried, maybe? Are we putting things in tombs? Is that what's happening? Mayhaps. I think it's looking awesome, yeah. Sup, Zavi? I really like the way surface castles look, although they're a bit too symmetrical for me, generally, so my goal is to just make them, or make this one less symmetrical. Make it more eclectic in its design, and thus interesting. You know, actually, let's go up to here. Skip that top one. Yes. Also, block walls are harder to climb than boulder walls. So if you're making your walls out of rough boulders, don't, or your enemy will just climb them. So I recommend making your walls out of blocks instead of boulders for this reason. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of symmetry. I think that if things are just purely symmetry and nothing else, I think that's really boring. Aesthetically. It's just not that appealing to me visually. To be really careful to not accidentally cave this in on my traders, because I would like more migrants. Because as you can see, we got no migrants this season, because I missed trading last season, so. But EXE, I will recommend, if you want to learn everything about climbers, play 90 minutes of adventure mode. Because all enemies are novice climbers. So anything that you can do as a novice climber, they can climb. Like, go to one of your old forts and try to get into it without using the front door. It's actually, like, I think a pretty fun little exercise. Is build what you think is an impenetrable fort and then try to get into it. What's up today? Still this guy. I hope. What's up with you? It's always a question I'm really bad at answering. Just the generic what's up. It's like, I woke up, am streaming, is streaming, streaming is good. I released a video yesterday. People seem to not hate it, which is also good. I think that's it. What's up, Flykick? Like, I'm good at just generic hellos and how are yous, but it's like, what's going on today? It's like, I don't know. Hopefully not something I'm unaware of. I'm trying to, like, deconstruct in my brain what that sentence means, Krampus. The heck? I don't know what that means. Like, do you mean in the, like, sieging sense? I mean, I uploaded one 2 weeks ago in regards to the vampire video. The, like, water calamity video was the last one, and I will do more. I don't like referring to something being pregnable. That's, I don't know. I don't know if I like that. There's something about that that makes me kind of uneasy, and I'm not totally sure what or why, but it does. It's like, I know that you're referring to, like, sieging, I guess, but... God, I hope they add battering rams to Dwarf Fort. I would love rolling battering rams. All right, so I've got way too much construction that I need to do, so I'm just going to go into here and pause a shit ton of crafting jobs. I'm going to do this again. I'm also... I am going to go up to here, though, and tell them to press wax. Assuming it's available. Nope. Because I need to cook this honeybee royal jelly. Grumble. I'm just going to take meat, all of it here. That's very XE. I mean, I'm trying to think how many I've made now. I mean, I started in August last year, and I did 10 Years of COG, the Cult video, the Cursed Fort video, the Haunted Fort video, which was, I think, the only one that I would describe as a failure. The Caves of Cud video, which has been a very slow burn. I made the Gremlin video. I made the One Adventure Mode video. I made the Water video from the other day, and then I made the one that I just made. So like 9, I think. Not bad. I'm going to just tell you this. I try my best to not know any military terminology because it makes me feel physically ill. English Dragon in YouTube chat. And I have heard that one before as well, but nope. That's all I have to say. You take from this stockpile. This thing is just very limited as to where it can take from, so I just need meat to be in this stockpile. Once meat's in that stockpile, we can do stuff with it. I caught a naked mole dog. What else do we have? Troglodyte and a naked mole dog. Right, there's content violation. The rooster. Content violation, I will make you available as a pet, though. What else do we have? I'm gonna slaughter the 2 adult bulls. I would rather not stream Dwarf Fortress then. I think the only situation that I would play Dwarf Fortress without a manager would be if I played Adventure Mode, or if it was like a 3 population fort or something. I wouldn't do that. Like, it's funny because, like, maybe not funny. I've been pretty stalwart about this for quite some time now, and it's pretty simple. I really like Dwarf Fortress, but there's a key to that. I like Dwarf Fortress, and I don't want to hate Dwarf Fortress. And there were portions of the way other games that I've streamed in the past were played that were the popular ways to play them, or the ways people liked watching people play them, that ruined the game for me. And I think that if a challenge actively makes the game unfun, like not fun to play, I don't want to do that, because the last thing that you want is me to decide I'm not going to stream Dwarf Fortress for the next 4 months because of how burnt out and unpleasant a playthrough was. And that's the last thing I want to do too. So if that's genuinely something you want me to do, I would recommend, to have almost the exact same effect, go watch a different channel for 3 months and then come back, because that's probably what would happen to most of my audience if I did a challenge that made me hate the game for a period of time. Smile. Because what would happen is it would just make me not want to play it. Like, I'll do challenge playthroughs that make the game played dramatically different, or it can make things go south. But if you just want me to do extreme amounts of micromanagement for no real logical reason, hard pass on that, I'm good. And I do kind of hope that, like, I'll be honest, the Vampire Fort that I just did, that recent video, that fort wasn't pleasant to play by the end. And the reason I ended it wasn't because I needed to end the fort, which is why the video kind of just ends without any real major calamities happening. It's literally because I did the thing and it was getting annoying to manage. And I don't want to burn out on the game. That is the priority for me. I go outside. I ride my bike. I go for walks. I draw. I'm a regular at bars and or a brewery. 2 breweries, actually, I'm a regular at. And I'm the high score holder of a very, very specific indie sports game that I wrote about once on my blog. but I don't play a ton of games outside of stream. If I'm playing games, it's usually I don't ride my bike while drinking. Actually, I specifically if I'm riding my bike to a bar or a place where there's music, I won't drink more than one because I'd rather not die. Not crashing is the important distinction there. Got a strange mood with I'll Ask the Carpenter. Using 3 pieces of logs, 2 jet blocks, and gold bars. Hopefully they make us something cool. Make 3 animal traps out of wood. I'll do that seasonally. Maybe I'll make it kennels, why not? Let's see if we can catch anything. I mean, vermin catcher shop. Kennels haven't existed for some time. See how big this is exactly? Over there. Okay, so 1 taller and 1 shorter. But yeah, I'll be honest, like I don't play many games off stream, not because I don't like playing games, but purely because for those of you who've worked from home, are you less interested in sitting at your computer when you're not working if you work at a computer from home? Because it's the same for me. Like, even though I enjoy my job, which I very much do, if I'm at my computer, I get that kind of playing hooky from work guilt, if that makes sense. Well, I wish I could be like you. But I genuinely get like this feeling of like, man, I should just be working when I'm at my computer and working and not working. Like I should be playing something that I could cover or play something that I could write about and often I do, you know, like I'll if I'm going to play a game off stream for a bit, I'll try and play a game that is like something that I could cover in some format on the stream. So I would rather be in the other room, listening to music and drawing, or doing something unrelated. I'll Ask the Carpenter has created Ought That Ifin, a pearwood table, and offers it to the Curse of Knowing. I'm going to throw that in with this artifact throne. I do think it's funny that I've got all these armor smiths, and yet nobody's making me armor. Without panic attacks? Wow, that's intense. I don't get panic attacks. The best fighter JJ. Lonely's already named. So, would you like a beard or no? It's a failed game made by Valve that nobody talks about anymore, Tygo, is what that is. Chuck King of Chairs on YouTube channel had a conversation today about features not added to the game yet and was curious on your thoughts towards dwarfs and their bedrooms. My thoughts towards features that are not added is I try not to speculate because 1, a lot of things in Dwarf Fortress that haven't been added yet, in brackets, are very far off, and 2, if I speculate, people take me out of context and think that I'm saying it as fact, even if the person who initially asked the question got me in context. So I try not to speculate. I'm not going to say what could or should be implemented. I recommend you speak with the developers about what they think could or should be implemented. Or go mod it in. You'll take the second best. Do you want a beard or no? Nobody in this fort is really best, everybody kind of sucks because 1, we don't really have good gear, and 2, we haven't really had many opportunities to fight, so nobody's particularly trained. So we don't have any good fighters. So would you like a fighter with a beard or a fighter without a beard? Those are your options. And if you don't answer in the next 5 seconds, it'll be dealer's choice. 1, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. Going once? No beard. Okay. You have stream lag? I have lack of patience. It's all good. She hates vows, obligations, promises, and other binding elements that could restrict her life. Oh, well, okay, fine then. Bam. The clock is ticking, Mr. Bond. I will stop reading when the ads start. Though she rarely develops negative feelings towards things. She is prone to strong feelings of jealousy, and she is extremely confident in herself in situations requiring her skills. She does not enjoy participating in physical confrontations and works to spread this natural tendency with her respective martial prowess. She is prone to strong feelings of lust and does not often find most jokes humorous. She is somewhat quarrelsome, and she is bothered by this, and she values friendship, and she has an active imagination. She tends to not be swayed by emotional appeals and is rarely happy or enthusiastic. And she is conflicted by this as she values parties and merrymaking. Boy, I missed that. And she's conflicted by this as she values parties and merrymaking in the abstract. She really feels discouraged and has a tendency towards forming deep and emotional bonds with others. And she doesn't focus on material goods. And she tends to be a bit stubborn and changing her mind about things. She's quite comfortable with others that have a different appearance or culture, and needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about much anymore. She dreams of creating a great work of art and personally deeply dislikes competition and those who wield power over others. Likes horn silver and pig iron, as well as emerald and quivers and the words of the bejeweled diamond and the sound of the chartreuse meadow of tweeting. Okay. And when possible, prefers to consume whip wine and hates rats. You're a member of the fortress, of course, and you worship Emtan Notem. And you're friends with my diplomat. Emtan Notem is... I don't see it. Pink dye. Chat, am I blind? I mean, I know I am, but... Oh, I see. The god of everything. Yeah, that one. Congrats, Necrotier. How long you can keep this streak? Or how long you can keep watching? You know, I'm a little worried about Lewis scripting. Right now, Roses are red. I will say that. Because, like, Kid Fox just put out basically a bounty saying, hey, train our modders to, like, script in Lua. But, like, I'm wondering, like, how much of a response they're actually getting. Like, I'm worried they're... I'm basically worried that it's gonna alienate some of the old modding core people. Because like people know how to mod stuff in Unity pretty easily, and people know how to do basic raw editing in Dwarf. But I do actually wonder like how common Lua is as a scripting language in the Dwarf. Like I'm not a modder, so. But I haven't seen much in the way of activity around that stuff outside of like the modding room on the KitFox Discord. And it's a very small number of people actually talking about it. So I wonder how that stuff's coming along. But you worship the god Emtan the Born, which is the god of metals, crafts, creation, pregnancy, family, children, birth, youth, longevity, and hospitality. Yeah, but like I'm wondering out loud how much it's been picked up so far. And it doesn't seem that much. So it might just take a while for it to catch on. But yeah, I mean that's certainly something that's gonna be curious to see once it moves into the main branch. I'm just glad that Tarn's feeling better, because whenever I see somebody posting that they were sick for a while, it makes me feel worried. Mostly because like, I don't know if anybody here watches Techmoan, but Techmoan got sick recently, and like, it very clearly like obliterated him physically because he just like didn't upload for ages, and now suddenly he's uploading again, and like his voice is completely different. It's kind of crazy, actually. Well, I mean, it's a matter of like the implementation getting there as much as it is the actual tools being built, but I mean, they are still in the process of building the tools, so. You also need to remember that I don't know how many copies Cyberpunk has sold. Tens of millions of people probably have that. That's a much larger community, right? Off the top of my head, I can think of maybe a few dozen active Dwarf Fortress modders. So you do need to realize that this is a very different scale of community that we're talking about here. And it's a community that's been around for a really long time and is used to a very particular type of modding. To a point where, like, when the premium tile set came out, a lot of the old guard of the Dwarf Fortress modding community just straight up vanished because, like, the format of modding that they'd been used to up until that point no longer exists as a thing in the game, right? Which is just editing tile sets, more or less. So, like, you kind of need to, like, take that into account and remember that. Is Tough Lua a specific form of Lua, or is Tough Lua... Or are you saying Lua is tough? I don't really understand that sentence. I'm filling in the bottom of this to make this much harder to get into. Oh, is that a though type of... Oh, I see. Okay. You also... Yeah, I mean, Muds was a very long... Muds being popular was a very long time ago is maybe the better way of putting it. You would start tinkering if they extend the features, but for now, the functionalities are pretty limited. I mean, it's just procedural critters right now, right? Like, it's just vampires and forgotten beasts. And night creatures, I think? Is hack mud a mud? I was always under the impression that that's more of like a hacking sandbox. I know that that's kind of a dumb question to ask in the context of we're talking about muds, but certainly a very niche thing, though. Like, I always think of muds as more of a like a physical world, like an MMO that you can exist within. Wait, what? Kingdom Hearts 2 modding? It's, okay, sure. About a year ago, you were talking about how Lua makes no sense for you for some reason. Oh, well, you've had the displeasure of learning VBA and you have to say, sorry, Lua devs. I mean, hey. Most programming makes no sense to me, so... Well, I'm not referring to enemies in mobs. Muds are a multi-user dungeon. It's an acronym. Acronym. Something just died. Ah. To a cave crocodile. That's what I get for having open caverns. Are you about to die too? At least you have a weapon. What are you doing? You're bashing it repeatedly in the head, bruising the scale. Well, on the bright side, you're probably getting pretty good at fighting really quickly right now. Some of them actually have bolts, like this one. Which is probably pretty good for your Marksdwarf training. But it's dead now. Get back to whatever you were doing, dwarves. Yeah, a MUD is it's an acronym for a multi-user dungeon. It's like the original RuneScape was a MUD. MUDs are like the predecessor to MMOs. They're usually like basically multiplayer text-based adventure games. Or some form of that type of thing. Oh, okay. I always thought of like I've never played or seen HackMud being played, admittedly, but I was under the impression that it was a bit more of a like a sandbox. But I mean, hey, that's kind of cool. I didn't know. As I think so. Yes, you are in fact still alive. You are doctoring. Yes, you are my general, and you are giving somebody stitches. Trull apparently is getting stitches right now, which is good, but not good because that means that you got injured during that last fight. Yeah, because you were beating the crap out of a cave crocodile. You must have gotten bit a couple times. About some new obscure game. Yeah. So we are butchering these shush saths monsters. And apparently they can't butcher the feathers, so they're just getting left out here. But if I actually go to the meat section... I probably just have a bunch of them, right? Maybe not. Maybe we just got bones out of them. So do you have a coffin? That's the next question. I know that body was lost, so... Oh, those need to be fancied up. Because these are tombs for my nobles. I'm also trying to make my tomb fields outside of the fortress, which is probably a horrible idea, which I will later regret most likely, but I'm sure it'll be fine. At least for the time being. Until horrible things start happening, at least. I'm just not sure why they're in the butcher shop because like feathers can't be butchered. Also, sorry, YouTube chat. I've been ignoring you guys for a bit. I swear I haven't been ignoring you guys for a bit. My chat's apparently just frozen, so let me just fix that. That's another thing. YouTube chat is like extremely unreliable. I use pop-out chat, and I've like been looking at the YouTube chat for a while, and like, is Killa still alive? Killa is still alive. I've been looking at the YouTube chat and going like, man, they're quiet right now, which is odd because there's a lot of people watching. And then I like tab over to the YouTube dashboard, and it's like, no! This product has crashed. Please refresh your page. It's like, what? YouTube Studio has crashed. Why does YouTube crash so much? Should learn how to fly before you buy a jet, YouTube. God damn it. Speaking of flying, has anybody here seen that music video for Freebird? What's funny to me about that is they released a music video for Freebird 50-something years after the song was released. Not even on the 50th anniversary. It was like the 53rd anniversary. Like the official one that Leonard Skinner uploaded like 4 days ago. It's like quite literally, they just made a music video for Freebird. Can every sentient person become a vampire? If they consume alcohol, yes. And I think you can force them. Sorry, if they consume water, yes. If they don't, then no. But I think you can force them to become a vampire in adventure mode. Or if they get like angry and tantrum and then punch a statue in a temple. I haven't been ignoring you. I've been wondering why you've been so quiet. Jesus. Also, you try to read 2 quickly moving chat rooms in real time. It's not easy. This is like something I've had to practice to get good at. I will never forget the... there was one day when I was on Twitch front page, and I had like 2,000 people watching. And it was more than that at one point. I think it was closer to 5. But I was literally responding and saying hello to everybody in the chat. Without any chat delay. I did this for like 4 hours. And this one person was just like, why is this fucking guy reading chat? What's wrong with him? Which today, to this day, might actually be one of the funniest things I've ever seen somebody say. Like, 'cause this is how I stream, goddammit. I mean, here's the thing, Ilmarin. I ain't your dad. Have you seen the video for Freebird? It is unironically, it's pretty good. Also, I like Freebird, so maybe I'm just weird, but... They don't. They just make money and forget chat exists. Like, genuinely, that's how a lot of the super toxic communities on Twitch form, is you just don't really moderate your chat and don't really read it. Like, literally, that's how you do it. And then I'll occasionally respond when people give you money. It's why a lot of platforms like Twitch and YouTube that have live chat get a bad rap, is because of all the channels that just don't moderate their chat and don't read it. I mean, it's not true of all of them, but that is generally what ends up happening. Also, for whatever it's worth, it's not too hard to just like sit there and cherry pick responses. I mean, basically no large channels read everything that's written in their chats. Like, that's just kind of unrealistic. But it's not too hard to like sit there and skim and then pull out the occasional statement. I also know that Tim the Tapman has a moderator that he pays who reads chat all the time and sends him questions. So he'll get specific questions or things like forwarded to him. And sometimes he pulls stuff out too. Man, Jesus. I guess this is why you stop. So Jesus just says, you try listening to and ignoring 2 billion prayers each day. I'll have you know, like, I guess this is why you must have stopped reporting prayer numbers, because, man, the numbers have dropped. I thought that you guys were over, like, 6 billion. Really? Like, man, heaven must be falling on hard times. I hope those subscriptions are keeping up. Anyway. I've been thinking about World of Warcraft too often recently. A chat liaison? Yeah. Yeah. Gotta make the corners interesting. Although, who am I kidding? Heaven can probably just print more doubloons or whatever monies they use. Random side tangent. Has anybody here seen the movie Heaven Can Wait? Because I randomly saw a clip of that movie in a GIF while I was looking for memes for the video that I was editing. I'm wondering if anybody actually remembers that movie or if it's just me. I mean, just like any countries with an economy, just make more money. Most of those prayers are just prayers for food. Wait, like blessing food or asking for food? I'm trying to figure out the direction you're going with this joke. Do you remember it? Nope. Did you watch it? Yes. Okay. Well, fair. It was remade in the 80s. I think I've only seen the remake then. I didn't know there was an original one. I don't know. It's like up there with Angels in the Outfield for like weird Christian pop propaganda, but like oddly funny. It's Heaven Can Wait is literally just a guy who dies early and then shows up at the gates to heaven. And they're like, oh shit, you weren't supposed to kill him yet. It's like, but it was a deadly car accident. It was brutal. It's an odd movie. But also kind of funny. Blessing. Okay. So like dinner table prayers. Got it. All right. What in the hell was I doing? So I'm building defenses. And the other thing I want to do is I want to build a spike area. And these aren't going to be effective because they're going to just be wooden. But I think they look cool, and I think they're a bit of fun. And it'll give me an excuse to automate stuff with minecarts, and that's also a bit of fun. Why is your body still there, Trell? Why? Why? And because I think that automating stuff with minecarts is a bit of fun, I'm going to build a little kind of circle here of spikes. Torture area? I mean, enemy deterrence area, maybe? We aren't really torturing anybody, per se. We're just disincentivizing enemies coming in. I mean, that's the... If that's an upside down cross, then every fort looks like a penis, man. Like, I don't know what you want from me. Like, truly? I don't know. Upside down penis. Sag. So for everybody who's talking about siege weapons in the YouTube chat, siege weapons are designed for a game that was flat, that didn't have 3 dimensions like Dwarf Fortress has had for the last very long time. They're kind of a waste of time and energy right now. However, they're likely going to cease being a waste of time and energy after the next major update. So if you're curious about them, cool. But disregard literally everything that people are saying about them right now once the next big patch comes out. Because quite literally, they're most likely just going to lose. Like, all of those statements about it is going to lose its accuracy very soon. Only hits targets that are standing and they can no longer stand. They do not hit. Oh, that's funny. I didn't actually know that. Makes sense, though. And, like, catapults are virtually useless for actually doing damage to things. They're more like a long-range stonefall trap. These are, like, tools that were useful, like, literally in the boat murdered era. Every now and again, people will, like, compare my videos to boat murdered. They're just like, oh, boat murdered was better. And it's like, well, I mean, boat murdered was kind of made in a different game, in a way. Like, comparing my stuff to boat murdered is a bit mean to both my content and boat murdered. But, okay, I'm glad you like boat murdered. But you need to remember that boat murdered was largely a different game when it was new. Because boat murdered was made when Dwarf Fortress was 3D. Dwarf Fortress hasn't been 3D for a but was made before Dwarf Fortress was 3D. Dwarf Fortress has been 3D now for quite some time. So because this stuff was made before that era, things that were made then for the game were a lot more effective. Oh, certainly, like, they can be used effectively. But I can tell you in, like, a sentence why I don't like using ballista for basically anything. And the reason I don't like using ballista for basically anything is ballista can't shoot up or down, and they're operated by civilians. In the 2D game, if you've never played it, back when it was ASCII, in version 27, or whatever it was, point 27, played very differently when it comes to how dwarves behave and how military dwarves behave. So the reason I don't like ballista or any siege equipment is if a dwarf who is not actively in the military is within 30 tiles of a goblin, they do one of two things. They run at it and attack it, or they run away screaming. More likely that they run away screaming. And I have zero interest in trying to micromanage my dwarves into not running away screaming when there's a goblin on screen. And that's usually what ends up happening, is you have to micromanage your dwarves into not running away screaming when there's goblins on screen. And I just find that very irritating and not fun to manage at all. I mean, if it works for you and you like managing it, I mean, I guess more power to you then. I don't, so I don't. And it's kind of that simple. Boat Murdered was a community Let's Play that was done on the Something Awful forums with Dwarf Fortress back in the good year, like 2007. Down the Rabbit Hole made a video about it recently. I was planning to make a video about it, very similar to the way Down the Rabbit Hole did it. And then Down the Rabbit Hole did it, so I guess I don't need to do it now. So yeah. It's a classic Dwarf Fortress written tale. Okay, that's it. I'm just going to pause all of these construction jobs because I need to get these bodies cleaned up. Because moods are dropping, and it's because there's dead bodies in places. I realize I'm going to accidentally cancel some of these, and it's going to frustrate me later, but it's worth it. If you set it up behind two fortifications, they don't run. Not until a bolt is fired at them. I've seen them run behind two fortifications. I've also seen them run behind two fortifications and a, what's it called? A bars. A set of bars. So, I don't know if I agree with that. I find them just painfully unreliable. But I was kind of thinking about using them as a theme for a fort at some point this year. And then Tarn announced that he was going to do the siege update. And now I'm going, well, I'll just wait until it's over because otherwise I'm just going to have people asking me if they're worth using and trying to utilize them. And I think they're not really worth utilizing. Thankfully, there's a VOD DFS FD, so you can go to the VOD from it started 4 hours ago. Do you know of any booga? It's mostly up your nose. I know of more bugs than that, and the cat get drunk bug was such a long time ago that most people watching this stream probably weren't playing at that point. Some of you probably weren't born when that bug happened. The most recent one that really strikes my fancy, aside from clicking on sheep or any livestock that's a child crashes the game, which was kind of funny. I mean, the skinless children dwarfs is one that I'm kind of surprised people don't talk about anymore, because like that one was very funny. There was a chance that dwarves wouldn't be born with skin because they wouldn't have the skin pigment, which would kind of break the game. And they would show up with no skin, and that bug had been in the game as long as I'd played, more or less. Because, well, simply put, you wouldn't notice in an ASCII game unless you read the description of them what the color of their skin was. And if it didn't have a skin color listed, then, well, they showed up with no skin. That one was pretty funny at one point. I'm also going to pause this. Baby dwarf brain parasites was fun, yeah. Your last fortress fell because you made a military service mandatory and squad changes every month, and the dwarves stopped doing real work and got stuck in an endless loop of picking up and storing equipment. You should fully... Oh, you have to remove them from the training. So, like, in your barracks, this. You have to click that when they're not training. So, like, this squad, they will periodically go and train if they're set to ready with this ticked, but if they're set to off-duty or monthly orders, and that's still ticked, they sometimes forget what the fuck they're doing and try to equip and drop stuff. Also, if they are assigned to a uniform in the military and also assigned to being a miner or an axe dwarf, then that will cause that because they have to have 2 uniforms on and they can't wear 2 uniforms simultaneously. It's a bit fiddly, but you can make it work. Like I did that in the last fort. So, yeah, staggered training was probably your problem there. Desokun, thanks for the Prime sub for 12 months. Welcome back, dude. Because there's a lot of people on YouTube that make content out of Dwarf Fortress by only seeing 1 or 2 things or reading 1 thing or watching 1 documentary, and then after that they presume that everything is still an ongoing concern, but Dwarf Fortress has been in development for so long that there's a lot of out-of-date information on it. It's the same reason why, like, you're probably in an ad break, actually, should. I think a lot of people found my YouTube channel after watching the Down the Rabbit Hole video. I mean, it was pretty clear because, like, my videos got recommended a lot after that. Altieri. Also, Twitch chat, can I get a round of beers for Desokun keeping that sub alive for 12 months? I think I'll say this. I'll wait for 40 seconds, but I have a thing I want to say about Dwarf Fortress bugs. I'm going to presume that most people are through the ad break. So the thing that I'll say is this. There is a lot of channels on YouTube, right? And there is a lot of websites on the internet. And they have something in common. And this thing that they have in common is that they make a lot of content. And when you're making a lot of content, it turns out that you need a lot of things to make content out of. Same whether you're writing or streaming or making videos, whatever. Dwarf Fortress is a game that a lot of people learn about, but don't play. And what I mean by that is it's a game that's referenced a lot. It's a game that's referred to a lot. It's a game that has a lot of basis in games culture, even if it isn't the most widely played game. And that's much to my dismay. I wish that, 30,000 people were playing Dwarf Fortress right now, because if there was, then I would have 1,000 people watching instead of like 300-400 over 2 platforms. And the reason for that is like Dwarf Fortress is very obtuse. However, because Dwarf Fortress is so well known, it gets a lot of references, as I stated earlier. So there are a lot of channels that cover Dwarf Fortress and talk about Dwarf Fortress with absolutely zero actual knowledge of how the game works. And the way these channels work, and they cover a lot of similar games of similar levels of depth, or alternatively, they'll talk about you know, or write about games, is they'll just go look up what is like the most well-known thing. And if you go to and look up Dwarf Fortress famous bugs, you're going to find like 4. You're going to find drunk cats. You're going to find overbreeding cats because people like cats and the internet is made of cats. We know this. And most servers are maintained by cats or humanoid cats. And you're going to find the you're going to find the story of the elf king, which people seem to think is a bug, but it isn't. You're going to find stories of it crashing. You're going to find the story of the person throwing a lion at a lion and killing the lion with the lion that they threw at the lion. You're going to find tales of, like, you know, things getting stuck in places. You're going to find all the classic stories. You're going to hear stories about rampaging elephants, which I guess kind of happens again with Untamed Wilds. But you're going to find a lot of stuff from like 10 plus years ago. And then they cover it because it's funny with a capital I. And I would honestly say that at this point, it's largely You're also going to read a lot about like them implementing the economy and then removing it because it was too accurate. Because I've seen many videos about Dwarf Fortress over the years and read about Dwarf Fortress in articles where it's like, oh, you read the wiki and read like 6 wiki entries to make this or write this, which is fine. People should do that. But that is the vast majority of stuff that people make about this game. Like even the NoClip documentary, like Danny is on record stating that like he didn't start playing Dwarf Fortress until they were deep in the weeds of developing it. And even then he only ever learned a surface level of knowledge of the game because like this game takes a long time to learn and most people don't have that time. So you combine a lot of people making stuff out of this game or writing about this game or talking about this game who've never played it. And the fact that the game has enough ire and interest that it gets views. I mean, look at my videos. They do quite well considering how niche this game is. You're going to have a lot of very old information getting recirculated time and time and time and time and time and time again. Carp, boat murdered. Yeah, mermaid farms. Exactly. Giant zombie whales. And I think that that's kind of unfortunate because I think that there's a ton of misrepresentation about this game at this point. Where does the hole go? My trash pile. So, you know, it's kind of hard to explain and talk about for me without sounding like I'm just complaining about people misrepresenting the game, because I'm not. I think that it's good that the game gets coverage. I just wish that more people who covered this game talked about the modern game. Like even now, like I'll see people talking about Dwarf Fortress and they'll like, there was a negative, like, it was a short, but it was very negative about the game. It came out about a year ago that I remember seeing circulating and talking about how they thought this game was really boring and a bunch of other things. And then they make a bunch of references where they say, I thought this was a game where things like, and they talk about drunk cats and they talk about carp and they talk about rampaging elephants. And they're like, where's this? Where's this? Where's this? And it's like, oh, so you like watched a 5 things that happened once in Dwarf Fortress 5 years ago video, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago at this point video, and are expecting all those things to happen immediately? Okay, well, that sucks. It would sort of be like if the only thing that people knew about Skyrim was an obtuse mod, you know? And then you go buy vanilla Skyrim and go, well, where's the obtuse mod? I mean, I'll take a foot-long meatball marinara if you're buying. James Croc in YouTube chat. I don't know why I said meatball marinara, but... Okay, so hopefully we can start improving moods now. Yeah, why isn't Thomas the Tank... I thought Thomas the Tank Engine was in this game. It's actually, like, not that bad. Not that far off of, like, a direct comparison. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird being a personality in the space of this game because of that. But at the same time, like, you know, I'm just glad that so many people are playing it now. I mean, I'm still confused when things happen sometimes. Just, you know, and I've been playing this game for a very long time. Dare I say, almost as long as I could possibly have been playing it. And I realize I'm constructing stuff again, but that's because I think we're getting through all of the bits and pieces. You know, a game that you can play for a while and say that it just confuses you, I think is a testament to the quality and interest level of the game itself. Okay, we are still dumping stuff. Jeez, man. You have a room? You should be sleeping in your room, Dwarf. Speaking of bugs that are going to get repeated for forever, in regards to volcanoes erupting. Do I remember all the hotkeys for types of items and placement? I did. I don't now that there's mouse support, because they all changed. Unless you're asking me, do I still remember all the hotkeys? Yeah. Like, I can, like, load up version 47, and it takes me a minute. Be like, oh, what was that key? Right, and then, you know. But, like, BCW, build, construct W, for wall, stuff like that. AB, 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 QR. You know. Good times. We're getting to where they need to be. I'm also going to move this back here. Can also unforbid this. Yeah, there were ways to make volcanoes erupt, sort of. Not really. That's something that would be cool if they implemented that as an actual feature, but... I mean, there are plenty of bugs in Dwarf Fortress that have been kept around or made to not crash the game as much, or made to not crash the game, that are now accepted as features in Dwarf Fort. Like quantum stockpiles are one. But yeah, if you watch the video I uploaded to YouTube yesterday, a link, that video shows off me making a volcano erupt, in air quotes. Okay, let's unforbid all of these constructions now. Just the constructions, though. And let's see if I can happyify this fort a little bit. If we get sieged in the next year, I'm just gonna ignore it, I think. I'm also going to just double check and make sure that I don't have the migrant cap up still. Yeah, it is set to 100, so I should be getting more migrants. Well, hopefully you get the chance to watch it sooner than later. It's going to be a bit probably before I get another one up. Are you talking about version 50 Classic and version 50 Steam? Version 50 Classic and version 50 Steam are identical. Mechanically and control-wise. Version 47 and version 50 are not, but they're different games, right? It's like kind of like asking, like, is, you know, pre-Cataclysm World of Warcraft the same as World of Warcraft Cataclysm? No, they're pretty different at that point. And you had to look up, as apparently a dwarf can fall to the bottom of a volcano and bleed to death afterwards. That's just a really fat dwarf. Actually, I don't even know if that's really a bug, because the thing, as far as I know, that causes that is as far as I know, what causes that is a dwarf with that, instead of hitting, like, just nothing, like the void, they hit semi-molten rock, and there can be floors of semi-molten rock or obsidian in the magma sea. And a dwarf, if it takes them a while to burn to death, it means that they're a very, very, very large dwarf. And I remember Tekid was doing some file diving with, I think, DFHack, and trying to figure out, like, details of how big dwarves could get, trying to, like, figure out how to optimize the military to ludicrous degrees. And he discovered that most of his indefatigable military dwarves were roughly the size of a small black bear. Like, they weighed almost a ton. If you were to do, like, 1-to-1 Eurist units to, like, kilograms conversions. So I don't think that that's a bug, actually. Like, I've seen that happen too, but I'm sure somebody's calling it a bug, but I don't think I wouldn't consider that a bug, is maybe the way I'd put it. I'm gonna lock the dwarves inside briefly, and I'm gonna go here, and I'm going to actually just fucking close this. And hopefully I don't crush a dwarf in the process. Yep. I don't think that killed anybody. I didn't see the population go down, so. Didn't mean to reopen that. I did that on running on automatic. I don't know. An Adis. I think some dwarves are just bigger than others, but it's not like, how do I word this? It's not generally fat. It's more muscle. Like dwarves with really large amounts of muscle, basically. But I don't know. In my experience, you don't generally want super large dwarves. You want skinny dwarves because they're more agilic. That's more just like a how I play the game type thing versus how other people may play the game. They can leave here, I just want them to take the combat tunnel exit. They're finally adding housing that you've always wanted and it looks good. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, I've never played WoW, fun fact. I've always been mildly fascinated with it, but... It was on the bug report page. You need to remember that the bug report page isn't managed by devs. It's managed, well, I mean, they can like delete bugs if it gets fixed, if they consider it a bug, but it's community maintained basically. So anybody can submit a bug and call it a bug. Like I would consider, how do I put this? I wouldn't consider dwarves wandering off the map and disappearing as a bug because... Oh, the carpenter was found dead? What? That was the dwarf that made that artifact. Oh, you're fighting with a troglodyte. Well then. That sucks. But like I wouldn't consider that a bug, because almost always, like, when I've gone in and looked them up in whoops. Whenever I go look them up in Legends mode after the fact, it always has a reason for it to happen. Like, oh, they, you know, they just left. They you know, maybe they died as part of the siege and it wasn't reported, or they got kidnapped as part of the siege, or they just defected and went and joined the goblins themselves, or, you know, they went and became a mercenary for some reason. Like, to me, that's enough justification for it to not be considered a bug. But like, that's gonna be called a bug as like long as this game exists, until it's properly explained as to why it happens. So bug report those damn cicadas. You know, cicadas to me are kind of like crickets. I like the sounds of them. I like the sounds that cicadas make, but that's also because I don't live near them. Although for me, crickets are just very, 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 very nostalgic. Welcome back, Boom Boom. We've missed your clips. By the way, Twitch has a clips leaderboard now, if you didn't know. No, I believe that. I mean, where I grew up, I heard frogs all the time. And similarly, like, I would go outside and it would be like, I wouldn't describe it as deafening, but like very loud. So like, if you found the sound of tree frogs ribbiting annoying, then like, certainly I could see that. And I've always kind of presumed that cicadas are similar to that. But for me personally, like, I kind of like the sound that they make. I mean, sure, but that's not a bug. That's just something that they haven't added, right? Like, there's plenty of stuff like that that like absolutely could be better about Dwarf Fortress. There's no denying that. They sound like summer. Here's another example of this. I like the smell of cow manure because it just smells like my old home. Like, for me, like, fucking cow manure is like, it's springtime. As long as it's like, as long as I'm not standing in a pile of it, like, if it's like, you know, a good 800 meters away, it's like, just like the wafting scent of cattle manure. It's like, it's like fresh cut grass, kind of. Springtime rain. It was impossible to miss it. James Crock in YouTube chat. Because about 150,742 people sent it to me in about a 20-minute period when it released. I think that might be the most DMs I've gotten in a week. Like, in the last several years. Just random people I hadn't talked to in years. Just being like, have you seen this? I was like, yeah, it showed up in my subscription inbox. I don't know what you're telling me. Well, I mean, it's just like the bits leaderboard, right? It's just at the top of the stream. So if somebody clips something and then links it and it gets views, you get... I think it has to have like at least 10 to be listed on the leaderboard. I don't think anybody's clipped the stream yet today, so there's nobody on there. You had a pine tree in the backyard. Man, most of the dwarves are still working. This is one of the problems with having super low population forts. Is it just takes forever to get stuff functioning. Absolutely forever. I just need my dwarves to get to a point where they're actually praying. Don't really like the location of these stairs. Certainly not happy with this one. This can go away. How you doing, Rallies? No, because the way jobs are managed is completely different from version 47 into version 50. Because back in the day in version 47, Shamalama Ding Dong, which is a name I always need to sound out before I actually say it out loud, is the way it worked previously was like every dwarf basically just had a checklist of every single task, and you would manually go into every single dwarf and set what tasks they do, and DF Hack just put that in a spreadsheet. But tasks don't work that way anymore, so no, there is nothing like that because the game has been mechanically changed enough. Which is why there's like one person on Reddit that posts once a month, maybe not Reddit, but probably just my YouTube comment section actually, about how Tarn ruined Dwarf Fortress and how Dwarf Fortress is a terrible video game now because that feature's gone. So, you know, bad game, literally destroyed by developers, do not play. Feels bad. Anybody who likes game is bad person and denying the reality of the game, according to that person. Which I disagree with, but... It's complicated. Grandma thinks it's like 3 different people. Such is life, anyways. My grandma couldn't remember who I was. Well, not totally true. My grandma didn't recognize me because she didn't see me for 4 years. My hair got long. And then, like, towards the end, straight up didn't know who I was. So, you know. Is that gold dining room? Correct. And I'm trying to fix the moods in this fort. Everybody also has bedrooms already, too, so... Where did I put those dining rooms? Snail, right? They're over here. And then it's my general and the diplomat. I don't know about that. Our imported and exported and created wealth isn't actually that high right now. Could be, but we need a lot more population for it to be rich. You'd be subjectively more hyped to see steel in the dining room. If I was a dwarf, I'd be mildly frustrated as to why they were using steel for the dining room and not, like, weaponry. But that's just me. I don't know. You know, Rylai's, I'm going to be honest with you right now. I'm not going to respond much to these discussions because it's entirely out of my element and something that I have zero experience with. So while I can empathize with you, it's frankly not something that I can reasonably respond to. So all I can really do is smile and nod, and that's about it. So glad you're finding your way in things, but also, I mean, it makes the bricks easier to pick up in a unit and put onto a wagon or something. Dwarven Mango, thanks for the 6 months. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Dementia runs in your family, and we had your granddad saying that at the house to take care of him and went to the bathroom at night, and he died. Jesus Christ, that's scary. Yeah, no, that's terrifying. Sorry you had to go through that. Boom, boom. That's a expensive monarch you got there, Ahuna. It's like having a partner that wants everything to be in the format of Gucci handbags. Chat, can I get a round of beers? And YouTube chat, can I get a couple party emotes or something for the 6 months of Twitch subscription from Dwarven Mango? I like mangoes and dwarves. What made me choose Dwarf Fortress for a main game? I liked it and hoped that I wouldn't burn out on it, and I didn't, and people watched. Like, chat, you guys can like agree or disagree with me on this, but I'm curious to know your take. I think it's fair to say you don't really choose your game in this industry. You just kind of throw stuff at the wall until you find something that works and the audience chooses you. Because, like, you know, I didn't start streaming Dwarf Fortress until 2018, really. But, like, I'd been playing it since 2009, on and off. I played other games before that. I had a small audience for a bit playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, of all fucking things. Like, I gained an audience because of DF News. And I'd made videos like that before of other games that never went anywhere, so I kind of stopped. Timing was right, and I haven't burned out yet. Like, literally, that's it. How did I come across it? A friend of mine DM'd it to me after I finished ADOM for the first time. I save scummed. But I finished ADOM, and I was sitting in queue for Heroes of New Earth, I think. Or it was called Counter-Strike. It was one of the two. Waiting for my friends to log on so that we could play in a group of 5, and I'd finished that, and I was talking with my other friend, and he says, well, you should try this, and sent me a link. I mean, it's sort of like the it's like the YouTube channel Force SC Strategy. My favorite thing that he says about his channel's name is that, oh, no. I'm just a really, really big Soul Calibur fan. No, it's not StarCraft. I'm just a really big Soul Calibur fan. I don't even know, does Heroes of New Earth still exist? I enjoyed the Savage games more than Heroes of New Earth, actually. I think they made a third one and nobody played it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I necessarily... Like, honestly, when I started streaming Dwarf Fortress, I was in a position where, sorry to get weirdly personal always, but my ex had literally just left me. I was making a little bit of money streaming, but not a lot of money. I'd been a Twitch partner for a period of time, not a very long period of time. And while I was doing all right, I wasn't doing great by like any stretch or any sense of the word. And I told my audience, I was like, I have 3 months of money, basically, and then I need to go get a traditional job again, because I'd quit my job, I think, about 1.5 years before that to try streaming full-time. And chat kept me funded, but those numbers were dropping before that, and they were getting worse and worse and worse. And I was expecting that I had like 6 months of time left of streaming before I would just go get a job again and then keep it as a hobby, which is what happens to a lot of people in content. And then my ex moved out, and I told my chat, I'm like, I have 3 months, guys, not even. And people doubled their Patreons and upped their subscription tiers or subscribed for the first time, and I scraped by ever since. I started streaming Dwarf Fortress because it was a game that I really wanted to dedicate time to learning properly. And I had two options. I could either do that and watch my stream slowly die, which is what I was expecting to happen, or I could do that and keep playing what I had been playing, which was RimWorld, where my stream was dying. Like, I was streaming RimWorld and then other niche PC games and some city builders now and again. And my stream was just slowly losing popularity. Like, I was losing out to basically every single other person in the same niche. My numbers were getting worse every month. Like, I go back and I look at my stats, and it's like, I got partnered in October. By January, I had about 50 people watching. By February, I had around 30. And I just remember that drop off and just going like, I'm fucked. Like, there's no way. So I started streaming Dwarf Fort because I was like, well, I have this runway and this is an opportunity for me to properly learn the game. What niche game? I mean, just random roguelikes and stuff. Like traditional roguelikes. Other ASCII, some ASCII stuff, not a lot at the time. But yeah, no, I like me dedicating to Dwarf Fort was literally stream suicide, sort of, in a way. I was expecting to not be streaming full time after. Me and my ex were together for 8 years. So I feel you there, mate. Remember somebody who I hung out with at the time telling me, he's like, it's going to take you half the length of the relationship to get over it. And I was like, oh boy. And he was right, actually. It took about 4.5 years to get over it. Well, maybe 4, 3.5, something like that. But, I think that my channel suffered from the same thing that a lot of channels suffer from, Romanoid, which is like post-partner drop. Where people get really excited when you're close to getting partnership and then just go watch somebody else. Like, there's one DM that I have a screenshot saved of on my computer, which I won't ever share. But it was from a subscriber who'd been subscribed to me for, I think it was like 30-something months at the time. Like, basically the duration. It was one of my first 10 subscribers. It was like the duration of affiliate existing. And I remember them sending me a DM saying, congrats on getting partner. Unfortunately, now I'm going to unsubscribe. And I'm going to go seek out other channels because I would like to support other people on their journey to partner. I was like, well, that sucks. And I literally haven't seen that person since. And so there's a lot of that you get when you get Twitch partner. But the dead walk. Hide while you still can. I'm going to lock the dwarves in the fort. That's interesting. Why? That's the reality. You've been discombobulated for 6? I'm sorry, man. That sucks. I probably wouldn't be over mine if I hadn't gone to therapy, I'll be honest with you, Trell. Do kings want the adamantine chair? Adamantine or the godlike metal. That's the truth throne. So it either has to be like, you know, the metal that you get from angels or adamantine. One of the two. So the zombies shouldn't be able to get in now. We'll see what the total number of them is, and I'll try and cage trap them, but I can't fight these. And also I need moods to get better, so I think now is actually a good opportunity to let the dwarves socialize for a bit. Read some books. It is going to suck, though, because we're going to miss another migrant wave. What are those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's too many. That's too many. It's too many, too many, too many. How many cages do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ah, fuck it. We'll let them in. Try and catch as many as I can. Maybe even crush some with the drawbridge. Oh, I mean, that's fair. I would call that compounding trauma, Tygo. Something you and Troll have in common, I guess. Who am I responding to? Twitch chat and YouTube chat, James Croc? I do have 2 chats. Thankfully, you guys don't also have to compete with TikTok chat. I know some people who also stream on TikTok, and it's like, they'll talk to Twitch chat a bunch, they'll look at YouTube chat a bit, and then they'll just be like, hi, TikTok, back to Twitch chat. Just completely ignore TikTok 90% of the time. That's usually how it goes. There's something about that I find really funny. Just occasionally acknowledge the platform that you mostly ignore. No problem, Mason. It's mostly the clowns in my head, Jesus. And grats on the streak, Blue Chimp. You'd ignore TikTok? Eh. Bearded Dwarf? Sure. Glow Gravel, what a good name. He personally holds the shrewd and crafty individuals at the lowest esteem, values good craftsmanship, and dreams of raising a family. You never use TikTok, so no stance on how it is a service. I used it enough to know that I don't super like it, but... he never feels hatred towards anyone or anything, and he feels very friendly and always tries to say nice things. I will say I'm a little bit jealous every now and again. I'll see a random channel on Twitch with like 30,000 concurrents, and it's always like somebody who got big on TikTok streaming, and it's like, oh, you've been a Twitch partner for 14 days and you have 30,000 people watching. It's like, you're making more money in like a week than I do in a year, maybe even like per stream than I do in a year. And it's just like, it's very rare that I get jealousy over other people's surprise success. Usually I'm just kind of happy for them, but like whenever I see that, I just kind of go, especially like when their microphone and camera sucks. Anyway, he never feels hatred towards anyone or anything, and is very friendly and always tries to say nice things to others. He is assertive and he has a sense of duty. He does not have a great aesthetic sensitivity, and he is conflicted by this as he values artwork and its creation. He has a noticeable lack of perseverance and does not often feel lustful. Generally acts with a narrow focus on the current activity, and he is rarely happy or enthusiastic. He is conflicted by this as he values parties and merrymaking in the abstract, and he occasionally overindulges. He doesn't try to get things done perfectly, and often tells pointless stories without... He often tells pointless stories when he's nervous, and when he's thinking, he clicks his tongue repeatedly. Excuse me. And he needs alcohol to get through the working day and does not mind being outdoors at least for a time. Dreams of raising a family and personally holds shrewd and crafty individuals to the lowest esteem, and dreams of raising a family. He likes lay pewter as well as tanzanite and giant hornbill leather, Remy paper in the color green-yellow, grates, ballista parts, and dogs for their loyalty. Giant gropers. Gropers? What the? Oh, that's a fish, right? We've been over this. For their lips, and the words of the bejeweled diamond and the sound of the berry of sweetness when possible prefers to consume plum wine, and absolutely hates leeches. Maybe he just pities people after witnessing death. It's like, that's a funny way to refer to, like, you know, pop music fans. See how many of these critters we can catch in cages. Yeah, giant grouper lips. Were you watching the stream like 3 minutes ago, NDK Gaming? Because you would have heard me. I played and streamed RimWorld for about 2,000 hours and burnt out 2,500 hours about. Probably a little bit more than that because I did play pre-Steam and those hours weren't counted. And I got so fucking tired of it that I never wanted to see it again and haven't really played it since 2019. The last time I streamed it was before that era, actually. I need you guys to run away. Oh, well. That was Creed and Iron running in. Well, this is stupid. Let's try it. Let's go for it. Creed is stunned and injured and probably about to die now. I need you to go slightly south, and then they'll get caught. This is a bad idea. I'm gonna lose so many dwarves in the next minute. Let's follow the only actually armed dwarf in the fort. I do have one dwarf up here in a martial trance that's ice blue. And before ice blue gets named in the fort and then immediately dies. It's currently bashing a corpse in the body, which is just bruising it. There's so many of them. Yeah, in 2022. You're not making up memories. That was the last time I streamed it, and then I noticed the dwarf running in and then stopped. Troll is dead. Adam Zuki is dead. This was a bad decision. Why did I do this? Iron is dead. I should actually go back to a save, shouldn't I? This was completely unnecessary. Because I forgot to change a setting. This dwarf just needs to keep dodging backwards, though. Keep dodging, donut. Me saying I should do something doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to do something, but... You know what I should do? I should let this fortress die and then reclaim it. Because I haven't been getting migrant waves for the past 2 years. And I think I might just be out of population. JJ is dead. Where did Donut go? I don't even see him anymore. I think that's what we're going to do. Because I like this fort, and I want to keep it going. But this faction seems to be kind of, for lack of a better term, dying. So if these zombies can kill all of my dwarves, I will reclaim it. I think that's what we're going to do. Any complaints with that, chat? It's still less than 1/3 lost? Yeah, but I haven't gotten a migrant in 2 years. Gortvitus? Because there is another Dwarven faction that's close by here. What will happen to the Baron on the roof? I mean, he will remain on the roof. Donut was found dead. Mass Morass was found dead. Why can't you switch factions? Because the fortress has to fall or be retired or destroyed for that to happen. You can't just switch factions. So why can't you? It's because the game doesn't have that as a feature. Disastrophe has taken the position of Baron of Oil Swords. Cinna Monsters has been appointed to the position of General of the Lean Paddles. You'll miss your chickens, though? 'Tis a shame. I could seal them in and try and, what's the word? I'm also going to need to reappoint more soldiers. But, like, same rules. It does appear that we have broken the siege with 20 dwarves left. So I think we are going to retire this fort, chat. I think we're going to retire this fort. However, the problem with retiring this fort is all of these critters are going to get released. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set all of these cages to be dumped. Neezer, you are still alive as well. Actually, no, let's just do this. DFHack, you failing me. Oh, you literally have to do them one at a time. Well, that's great. No, I'm going to reclaim it. I'm going to abandon it and reclaim it, Bad Lotus. We're just going to jump to a different faction. Because I was worried about this. Basically, like, how long have I been streaming today? I've been streaming for 5 hours. So I've been in Dwarf Fortress since probably like 10:30. I haven't had a single migrant today. I think this faction is just a bit too dead, and I haven't done enough to revive it. So I'm going to abandon this fortress to ruin. Okay? And in a couple of minutes, ideally, I will reclaim it as a new faction. But we're going to keep the continuity of this fortress running. Wait, where did Analysis Lover come up? Because that was somebody in this chat for a while had that username. So chat, can I get a round of beers? The dwarves are fleeing SKULLPONDERS. What'd you miss? Another siege of zombies, but I'm abandoning the fortress and reclaiming it. YouTube chat, for anybody who missed it. Did Killa survive? I don't. If you have to scroll back to the list and look. I didn't look at the list of names. The reason I'm doing this is too few migrants. We're just not getting migrants at all. And I've had several notifications in the past 2 years of gameplay from today stating that no migrants have arrived. Also, I'm going to go put on shorts because I'm sweating. Not enough skulls to ponder. I mean, maybe too many even. Well, experience comes with time, Vile. In YouTube chat. So one must practice to get good.